This audiobook is a non-profit fan adaptation of the web novel Comprehension Ability, creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability, creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 17, Astonishing Harvest, 8,000 words, 2 chapters in 1. Tianqing World. Deep within the martial hall, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, with the surrounding void faintly distorting. A massive power of will penetrated the numerous spatial layers. Spirit will is a very special power, transcending the physical soul, serving as the most core carrier of life. The main universe human civilization has already implemented a kind of standard quantification for the spirit will. To break through from 7th rank to 8th rank, one must reach a spirit will index of 10,000 points. Of course, this is not absolute. Even with a spirit will index exceeding 10,000, one might still fail to break through to the 8th rank. Conversely, if the spirit will does not reach 10,000, there is still a slim chance of successfully breaking through to the 8th rank. But without a doubt, the stronger the spirit will, the greater its impact on oneself. For instance, a life with a spirit will index of 10 million, even without using any laws or powers, merely a glance, is enough to cause a life with only a spirit will index of 10,000 or 100,000 to collapse. After 300 years of hunting those void creatures, is my current spirit will index 8 million, 9 million, or 10 million? Lin Yuan opened his eyes, unable to precisely determine his own spirit will index. Mainly because relative to 300 years ago, the leap in his spirit will has been too vast, improving by tens or even hundreds of times. Boosting combat power by tens or hundreds of times. Perhaps not difficult, breaking through a great realm, acquiring a powerful secret treasure, or awakening some bloodline talent. All can cause a surge in strength, but for spirit will, there are no shortcuts. Those special beings in the main universe who call themselves ancient gods after unending eons generally have quite formidable spirit wills. Even if not 10 million, they usually have several million. Inside a two-dimensional world, Lin Yuan was able to effortlessly crush those 11th rank legendary lives. This was also because starting from the same base level, even the spirit will was reduced. But now, after 300 years of hunting those void creatures, Lin Yuan believes that spirit will is no longer his weakness, and by the end of this traversal, it could become his advantage. After all, of the 600 years of residency time, only half has passed so far. As long as nothing unexpected happens, in the next 300 years, Lin Yuan's spirit will still has room for improvement. However, the stronger the spirit will, the more it boosts when hunting those void creatures. Now, only void creatures comparable to a 9th stage evil god can bring slight growth to my spirit will. Lin Yuan sighed inwardly. When he first entered the void secret realm, just casually killing a void creature could drastically increase his spirit will. Void creatures of the 9th stage are still rarely seen. In these 300 years, I have only killed just over 100 of such level. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Moreover, that void secret realm can also be accessed by many other evil gods. In the past 300 years, Lin Yuan's Taiyang divine spirit ventured through the void secret realm and discovered many powerful evil gods. Evil gods that could appear in the void secret realm all started from the peak of the 8th stage, and many were even evil gods of the 9th stage. A 9th stage evil god equates to an 11th rank life, and even a select few special 9th stage evil gods are as troublesome as 11th rank, 4th or 5th layer evil god. And all the 9th stage evil gods have only one objective, that is to pursue the footsteps of the legendary 10th stage evil gods. It is said that this void secret realm was opened by a venerated 10th stage evil god, and those void creatures came from the gaps between different dimensions outside the boundless void. 10th stage evil god? Shouldn't be the ultimate form, but slightly stronger than an 11th rank perfection. Lin Yuan stroked his chin. Over the years, he also explored some traces related to the 10th stage evil god temple within the void secret realm, getting a rough understanding of its upper limit of strength. The evil gods of this world are indeed peculiar, growing incredibly fast, with immense talent, but very weak in understanding the rules, resulting in an extremely rare population of ninth-stage evil gods. Lin Yuan thought silently. The endless void is vast and boundless. The eighth-stage evil gods. Each void domain has a few, but ninth-stage evil gods? Tens of thousands of void domains, millions of void domains might not even birth one. Only within the void secret realm, where numerous powerful evil gods converge, can some ninth-stage evil gods be seen. 300 years of stringent cultivation. The tremendous surge in spirit will is just one of the many gains Lin Yuan has reaped. Moreover, Lin Yuan's Tien primordial spirit roamed the boundless void, exploring many worlds, and to date has already dominated 32 worlds. These 32 worlds, 8 are more vast than Tianqing World, the remaining 11 are comparable to Tianqing World, and the last few are somewhat weaker than Tianqing World. In the 32 worlds, all have been seeded by the ancestral demon tree, slowly infiltrating them, while also spreading the martial Tao cultivation system. For an evil god to take over a world, various methods are needed. The worlds would desperately resist. Even if it can't take direct action, it will still give birth to a series of world's child, fate's child, and similar entities. When the ancestral demon tree invaded the Tianqing world, it wasn't smooth sailing either. The Tianqing alliance leader, together with the world sword, caused considerable trouble for the ancestral demon tree. However, Lin Yuan doesn't need such hassle, relying on the identity of the Tianqing world's heavenly Tao and grasping the essence of the world. Lin Yuan can completely infiltrate other worlds unnoticed. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 17. Astonishing Harvest. 8,000 words. 2 chapters combined. _2. Once inside the world, Lin Yuan had full control over its world consciousness at his whim. If he didn't intend to stir up too much commotion and planned to subtly replace the world will, it would have taken some time. The worlds Lin Yuan now governs would likely exceed 32 worlds by several times. Including the beings of Tianqing World, the inhabitants of 33 worlds are all following the martial Tao cultivation evolution path. Lin Yuan slowly closed his eyes. As the founder and opener, he could sense whenever a martial Tao cultivator emerged. At this moment, in the boundless void where martial Tao cultivators represented, a region of luminescence had already formed. Perhaps the martial Tao cultivators that I've shaped will change the circumstances in the boundless void, breaking the monopoly of the foreign evil god? Lin Yuan silently pondered. Before Lin Yuan's arrival, the foreign evil god was the absolute ruler of this boundless void. As for human cultivators, they were merely appetizers within numerous worlds. The foreign evil god feasted on worlds, and the human cultivators living within those worlds only served to make this food taste better, used by the evil god as an appetizer. Even the world's children and children of destiny born from the world itself have only a slight ability to resist the evil god, depending entirely on the world itself. However, the martial Tao cultivation system has given the beings of this world the possibility to resist the foreign evil god. Of course, this possibility is still invisible. Currently, within the boundless void, the strongest among the martial Tao cultivators has only reached the martial Tao 5th stage. The spatio-temporal fusion rule reaching the 6th realm is indeed difficult. Lin Yuan's thoughts shifted, and he slightly shook his head. 300 years ago, Lin Yuan stepped into the 3rd realm of spatio-temporal fusion rules. 280 years ago, the spatio-temporal fusion rules reached the 4th realm. 200 years ago, the spatio-temporal fusion rule ascended to the 5th realm. Over the subsequent 200 years, Lin Yuan's spatio-temporal fusion rule remained at the 5th realm. The 6th realm? At least for now, Lin Yuan saw no hope. Over 100 years, advancing from the dual realm to the fifth realm of the spatio-temporal fusion rules. Aside from Lin Yuan's own against heaven's understanding, the comprehension from the myriad tribes' powerhouses about the spatio-temporal fusion rules was also a great help. Understand that even for those unique special lives in the main universe, advancing one realm in the spatio-temporal fusion rules could take eons, billions, tens of billions of years. That is, under smooth conditions, with slight bottlenecks, the time consumption would be endless. Just take it slowly. How much time has passed now? Lin Yuan slightly shook his head. The comprehension of spatio-temporal fusion rules at the fifth realm from that group of myriad tribes' powerhouses was no longer of much help to him. Because the limit within that comprehension luminance was the fifth realm of spatio-temporal fusion rules. Regarding ascending into the sixth realm, it had to rely entirely on Lin Yuan himself. Normally, the sixth realm of spatio-temporal fusion rules is the domain of a supreme being. Fortunately, among the rewards on the fifth layer of the Black Tower, I chose the secret skill, Milky Way, which allowed me to see the direction of the sixth realm. Otherwise, to comprehend the sixth realm of spatio-temporal fusion rules below a supreme being, who knows how long it would take. Memories of the secret skill, Milky Way, floated through Lin Yuan's mind. Why is the sixth realm of spatio-temporal fusion rules exclusive to supreme beings? It's because it involves the mysteries above the river of time. Only supreme beings can detach from the river of time to hypothesize the various scenes on the shore of that river. This is the foundation for stepping into the sixth realm of spatio-temporal fusion rules. But Lin Yuan still belongs to the long river inner life, without any condition to observe the shore of the river of time, even though the 9 supreme beings of human civilization forcefully brought Lin Yuan to the shore. Due to his own life level, the scenes he observed were extremely narrow, holding little significance. However, the secret skill, Milky Way, illustrates the mysteries of the sixth realm of spatio-temporal fusion rules in another form, allowing Lin Yuan to comprehend the further mysteries and essence of the spatio-temporal fusion rules without having to go ashore. Of course, even so, comprehending the sixth realm of spatio-temporal fusion rules is not an easy task. It requires Lin Yuan to explore slowly. After all, the path he is taking now, no life from the inception of the main universe cosmic epoch has ever treaded. The spatio-temporal fusion rule at the fifth realm, my current strongest combat power, should be comparable to a Tier 11 fifth-tier powerhouse, right? Lin Yuan assessed himself. The spatio-temporal fusion rule at the fifth realm marks the threshold of the fifth layer Tier 11. Currently, aside from his life level still being at 10th rank, Lin Yuan is not weaker in other aspects compared to an 11th rank life. Furthermore, by relying on the fifth physical body divine ability, world, he can completely overpower a Tier 11 fifth-tier powerhouse. The external world formed by divine ability, world, once self-destructed, not even a Tier 11 perfection can withstand it. However, this move is the strongest trump card, which Lin Yuan will not use unless absolutely necessary. Merely through the natural suppression by the external world, even a Tier 11 fifth tier will feel exceedingly uncomfortable. These 300 years, the harvest has been astonishing. Lin Yuan gathered his thoughts. 300 years ago, before undergoing his 10th traversal, Lin Yuan's strongest combat power was merely limited to 11th rank 4th layer. But now, in a normal state, he could suppress the 5th layer, and if he uses his trump card, even a Tier 11 perfection would perish. And this is merely over the past 300 years. Moreover, this magnitude of enhancement in strength is based on Lin Yuan still being a 10th rank life. The difficulty is countless times more than from enhancing from 11th rank 4th layer to 11th rank 6th layer. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 17. Astonishing Harvest. 8,000 words. 2 chapters combined. _3. Void's Secret Realm. Vast and expansive. After 300 years of exploration, Lin Yuan Taiyang Divine Spirit had ventured deep into the secret realm. In these years, Lin Yuan occasionally acted, slaying void creatures, earning a great reputation among the evil gods, belonging to one of the strongest in the ninth stage evil gods. Many evil gods conferred the title Taiyang Divine Master upon Lin Yuan. Whenever Lin Yuan's Taiyang Divine Spirit made a move, immense flames would incinerate everything, which is a trait inherent to the Taiyang Divine Spirit. If it were the Taiyin Primordial Spirit acting, it would be an endless bitter cold freezing everything. It's not that the Taiyin Primordial Spirit lacks other means, but this method is the most convenient and powerful, and closest to his own great Tao. It has been a long time since I encountered a ninth stage void creature. Lin Yuan's Taiyang Divine Spirit traversed the high skies of the void secret realm, initially cautious upon entering, hiding among many spatial layers to avoid detection by powerful void creatures as much as possible.
But now,
Lin Yuan wished other void creatures would discover him. Master, ninth stage void creatures are incredibly rare. It's normal not to encounter them, immediately said the Lord of the Three Yin nearby. The Lord of the Three Yin ruled by Lin Yuan in the Tianqing Worlds void domain. After Lin Yuan suppressed the Black Demon Pavilion Master and 4 evil gods, the Lord of the Three Yin became aware of it. The Lord of the Three Yin realized that Lin Yuan was not to be trifled with and ordered other evil gods to steer clear of the sector containing Tianqing World. However, 290 years ago, the Lord of the Three Yin could no longer resist, wanting to get close to Tianqing World to see the mysterious, powerful being who had silently made the Black Demon Pavilion Master and 4 evil gods disappear. The idea of the Lord of the Three Yin was simple, merely to glance from afar, never to approach closely, and to immediately retreat at any sign of anomaly. Being a peak 8th stage evil god themselves, under such caution, even a regular 9th stage evil god would have few options. But what the Lord of the Three Yin encountered was Lin Yuan. Just when Lin Yuan's Taiyin Primordial Spirit returned, wanting to collect some demon tree seeds, he encountered the skulking Lord of the Three Yin and casually brought them back. After a soul search and interrogation, Lin Yuan learned that the Lord of the Three Yin had access to the Void Secret Realm and was very familiar with it, so he subdued the Lord of the Three Yin. Of course, Lin Yuan's subduing of the Lord of the Three Yin was not superficial, but the kind where a single thought could decide life or death. It is so. Lin Yuan nodded. Now for Lin Yuan, void creatures below the 9th stage barely enhance his spirit will. Lin Yuan's spirit will is too strong. Even if not reaching 10 million points, it's not much less, hence, upgrading is naturally not easy. While Lin Yuan and the Lord of the Three Yin wandered aimlessly in the depths of the void secret realm, a terrifying aura suddenly burst from an extremely distant place. Boom! Horrendous fluctuations disrupted the spatial temporal order, sweeping toward all directions. This fluctuation? Are several 9th stage evil gods battling? Or is it a fight with like-ranked void creatures? Lin Yuan thought to himself, feeling that there was more than one 9th stage void creature's aura fluctuation. So powerful. The Lord of the Three Yin trembled inwardly. Were it not for following Lin Yuan, with its strength, it could not have reached the depths of the void secret realm. Here, in a long enough duration, they were bound to encounter 9th stage evil gods. Or 9th stage void creatures. Let's go. Lin Yuan's mind flickered, disappearing on the spot, heading towards the source of the aura fluctuation. Where is the master? The Lord of the Three Yin, after finding Lin Yuan gone, also gritted its teeth and chased toward the source of the aura fluctuation. This is a lair nearly 1 billion miles in size, originally hidden deep in layers of space and time, now exposed as the external spatial temporal maze was torn open, revealing the whole nest. Threads of horrifying aura emanated. Outside the lair stood 6 massive figures. Inside the lair, there were similarly terrifying auras lurking, with nearly 10 breaths confronting the 6 massive figures outside. During the standoff, they subtly clashed across spatial boundaries, causing spatial fluctuations that spread to distant places. Humph! The void creatures within this nest have all reached the 9th stage, and there are exactly 9 of them, not easy to handle. One of the 6 massive figures outside, resembling an 8-tentacled octopus-like terrible evil god, sent a mental wave. How much will our spirit will increase if we kill these 9 ninth-stage void creatures? A gray serpent-like evil god roared. 8-handed lord, are you thinking of giving up? Among 9th-stage evil gods, they are addressed as Divine Master. As such, this 8-tentacled octopus evil god was called the 8-handed lord, and the gray serpent evil god was known as the heavenly python Divine Master. Give up? I certainly will not. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 17. Astonishing Harvest. 8,000 words. 2 chapters combined. _4. But it was only a matter of not being able to defeat. The difference in strength between them was not considerable. Originally, it was 6 against 9. 8-Claw Sovereign and Heavenly Python Divine Master were already at a disadvantage, let alone taking the initiative to attack the opponent's nest. A large portion of 7th-rank evil gods cannot maintain their sanity at all times, but 9th-rank evil gods, with their strong spirit will, do not have this flaw. Each 9th-rank evil god, in the human world, would be considered a profoundly wise man. We can just wait here. Heavenly Python Divine Master spoke. The temporal and spatial fluctuations emitted by this nest will surely attract other 9th-rank evil gods. By then, we can join forces, gather the power of the approaching evil gods, and when the time is right, we can storm the nest. Of course, we 6, belonging to the same alliance, should cooperate to eliminate other evil gods once we breach the nest. Heavenly Python Divine Master added. Upon saying this, the other demonic Divine Masters slightly nodded. With the power of these 6 Divine Masters, there is indeed a great risk of storming into the void creature nest. But what if it is 10 demonic Divine Masters? 20 demonic Divine Masters? At that time, they could forcefully enter the nest, and once they managed to suppress the void creatures inside, the 6 of them would then join forces to deal with the other demonic Divine Masters. Indeed, demonic Divine Masters do occasionally form alliances, but if there isn't sufficient trust, they would definitely be wary of each other and act independently. Yet, these 6 demonic Divine Masters, with prior preparations, could easily temporarily expel those evil gods. Then, they would have ample time to eliminate the 9 void creatures. Time passed. As the aura of the nest dispersed, more and more demonic Divine Masters approached. And with the active suggestion of the Heavenly Python Divine Master and 8-handed Lord, the approaching demonic Divine Masters all agreed to wait for more demonic Divine Masters before storming the nest. Anyone who could become a demonic Divine Master was no fool and understood well that relying on one's own power alone was hardly enough to tackle the 9 same-rank void creatures inside the nest. Only by joining forces could they divide up the 9 void creatures in the nest. Of course, the 9 void creatures would not be enough for these demonic Divine Masters to divide among themselves, but now is not the time to consider that. The eyes of the demonic Divine Masters flickered, looking at the distant colossal nest, wondering about something. Almost enough. There are already 19 demonic Divine Masters. Just one more, and we can jointly attack. Heavenly Python Divine Master looked around and spoke. Waiting until 20 demonic Divine Masters gathered to storm the nest was their initial plan. 20 demonic Divine Masters, minus these 6, would be 14, no more, no less. More than 14 would be too many variables. Even if these 6 demonic Divine Masters joined forces, they could not be sure of expulsion, and they might end up having to entice others to join them in splitting the void creatures. As for fewer than 14 demonic Divine Masters, they would seem rather weak against the 9 void creatures possessing home field advantage, and they could not take down the nest in a short time. If it dragged on, attracting more demonic Divine Masters to gather, and they were still battling the void creatures inside the nest, there would be even more variables. It might even end up with others stealing the opportunity. Thus, Gathering 20 demonic divine masters was the goal, not one more or less. Outside the nest, 19 demonic divine masters stood, waiting for the 20th demonic divine master to arrive. As Heavenly Python Divine Master observed the nest, he also released his perception, feeling out whether any demonic divine master was approaching. Suddenly, just then, within the range of Heavenly Python Divine Master's perception, a terrifying aura appeared, like a frighteningly bright sun, swiftly approaching them. Another demonic divine master is coming. Such a scorching aura? Who could it be? There are only so many demonic divine masters in the Void's secret realm. Who is this? The 19 demonic divine masters immediately looked towards the rapidly approaching figure. From the build, this figure was incredibly small, appearing like dust compared to their own colossal forms as demonic divine masters. But the demonic divine masters on the field showed no hint of underestimation, as the aura released by the other had already proved everything. Although evil gods are generally huge, there are also those few of small stature. It's Taiyang Divine Master. Taiyang Divine Master, the one who emerged in the past 300 to 500 years? It is said that this Divine Master's power is formidable. Among the 9th-ranked demonic Divine Masters, he is quite famous. Immediately, a demonic Divine Master, who recognized Lin Yuan, spoke hurriedly. Taiyang Divine Master? Good. With this Divine Master joining, our assurance of storming the nest will be greater. Heavenly Python Divine Master's spirits lifted, ready to share the split of the void creatures with Taiyang Divine Master if they could suppress the 9 void creatures inside at the fastest speed. Rumbling. Lin Yuan swiftly arrived before the nest, glancing at the 19 demonic divine masters standing not far from the nest. Forget it. The void creatures are more important. Lin Yuan then turned his gaze towards the nest in front of him. Taiyang Divine Master. Heavenly Python Divine Master immediately transmitted to Lin Yuan. I wonder if Taiyang Divine Master would be interested in joining us. Inside this nest are 9 Divine Master level void creatures. By yourself, it might be difficult. Heavenly Python Divine Master immediately explained the plan to collaborate, even promising that as long as Taiyang Divine Master followed commands, he would at least get a share of 1 void creature at the end. The other demonic divine masters looked at Lin Yuan, ready to join forces and attack the nest as soon as Taiyang Divine Master agreed. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 17. Astonishing Harvest. 8,000 words. 2 chapters combined. _5. However, the next moment, under the incredulous gazes of all demonic divine masters, Lin Yuan's figure suddenly began to surge, transforming into a colossal giant reaching thousands of miles high, lifting his right hand and grasping directly towards the depths of the nest. Boom, rumble. Terrifying aura vibrated continuously. This nest, as the lair of void creatures, was bound to be fraught with peril, but under Lin Yuan's grasp, time and space whirled. Everything was being annihilated. This, the Heavenly Python Divine Master, who was originally waiting for Lin Yuan to recover, fell silent, its heart trembling slightly as it beheld Lin Yuan's towering form, as though he were heaven and earth. Although among the demonic divine masters, combat power does not directly correlate with size, the boundless aura emanating from Lin Yuan's million-mile figure was making the Heavenly Python Divine Master's scalp tingle. Moreover, with Lin Yuan's grasp, the vast nest began to collapse from its foundation, further showcasing Lin Yuan's terrifying strength. The other demonic divine masters witnessed this scene, their mouths agape in awe. They had to painstakingly plan to gather 20 divine masters to be confident of invading the void creature nest, but Lin Yuan pierced through it with one hand. Boom, rumble. The void creature nest continued to collapse unceasingly. Lin Yuan's arm that reached and kept going deeper until at a certain moment, it finally stopped. And at this time, it was as if the entire nest erupted in fury, Horrific power surged into Lin Yuan's arm that reached in, but with a flash of Xian Huang light, everything was pacified and annihilated. Silence. 19 demonic divine masters watched the scene in shock. The trembling of the void creature nest just now was obviously a strike that gathered all its strength, but, evidently, it was easily blocked by the Taiyang divine master. Blocked with incredible ease. Just what kind of power does this Taiyang divine master possess? This Taiyang divine master, who rose to power in just 300 to 500 years, how can his strength be so formidable? Too terrifying. The demonic divine masters trembled in their hearts. The next moment, under the watchful eyes of all the demonic divine masters, Lin Yuan's arm that stretched deep into the nest retracted and soon completely withdrew from the nest. And at this time, the demonic divine masters only noticed that Lin Yuan's right hand was already grasping 2 void creatures. These 2 void creatures were struggling desperately. The aura they emitted was not the least bit inferior to the many demonic divine masters present, but Lin Yuan's fingers were like a cage of time and space, sealing both void creatures completely within. Then, with a gentle squeeze of Lin Yuan's right hand, both void creatures were annihilated, their forms ethereal. An invisible force entered Lin Yuan's body, enhancing his spirit will. Next, Lin Yuan's right hand delved into the nest again. When it withdrew again, between his fingers were 3 more void creatures. Then crushed. In the blink of an eye, 6 void creatures had died by Lin Yuan's hand. Lin Yuan's right hand stretched into the nest again, and when it retracted, it similarly held 3 void creatures. Powerful enough to make the demonic divine masters wary, the void creatures were like little chicks between Lin Yuan's fingers, crushed whenever he wished. Is that a void creature monarch? The heavenly python divine master immediately noticed that among the void creatures Lin Yuan brought back the 3rd time, one of them had a faint golden hue. The void creature monarch is the king of all void creatures, possessing the ability to command other void creatures. Similarly, the king of void creatures, once killed, the boost to spirit will is terrifyingly significant, equivalent to dozens of the same rank void creatures. Discovering the void creature monarch in Lin Yuan's palm, the eyes of other demonic divine masters turned a bit red, but thinking about the strength Lin Yuan displayed, none of them dared to step forward, their gazes continuously turning towards the heavenly python divine master. Taiyang divine master. Seeing this, the heavenly python divine master mustered his courage and immediately spoke. This nest was first discovered by us. Whoosh! The words of heavenly python divine master propagated through space and time, vast and mighty, by sheer luck. Lin Yuan nodded. He didn't mind communicating and exchanging ideas with a perfect 9th-stage demonic divine master. With his against heaven's understanding, Lin Yuan could often perceive many extraordinary pieces of information from the other party. After chatting casually with the Eastern Wing Lord for half an hour, the conversation suddenly turned, and the Eastern Wing Lord solemnly asked, "I came to seek the Taiyang Divine Master to join forces against an enemy." An enemy? Lin Yuan's expression became slightly grave. In the boundless void, evil gods are the absolute dominions, so what other enemy could there be? "I wonder if the Taiyang Divine Master has heard of the Taiyang Sovereign?" asked the Eastern Wing Lord in a deep voice. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 19. What can you do to me? Taiyang Sovereign? Lin Yuan looked at the Eastern Wing Lord. He had not expected that the Eastern Wing Lord would personally seek him out for the Taiyang Primordial Spirit. And the tone of the Eastern Wing Lord had already treated the Taiyang Primordial Spirit as a formidable enemy. Taiyang Sovereign. The Eastern Wing Lord immediately relayed the intelligence about the Taiyang Sovereign in detail. He emphasized that the Taiyang Sovereign was cultivating those beings from worlds regarded as food by the evil gods. The Taiyang Sovereign is not simple, the Eastern Wing Lord said with a grave tone. Although he tries his best to conceal, according to Tianji True Lord's peering deduction. The true combat power of the Taiyin sovereign might even surpass those of us who are perfect demonic divine masters at the 9th rank. A single perfect divine master is probably no match for him. Having said that, the Eastern Wing Lord looked at Lin Yuan. The Tianji True Lord is also among the very famous ones within the numerous perfect demon True Lords. However, what Tianji True Lord is best at is peering deduction, reputed to be the highest in wisdom among the infinite evil gods within the boundless void. Even the other divine masters of the same rank held a considerable respect for Tianji True Lord. So that's how it is. Lin Yuan's expression remained unchanged, and he nodded slightly. At the same time, he felt somewhat impressed in his heart that there are wise men among the evil gods. He had prompted the Taiyin primordial spirit to suppress its combat power in order to buy time. Little did he know that it had already come to the attention of those perfect divine masters. Actually, this was quite normal. The powers wielded by the evil gods are myriad and peculiar. The Taiyin primordial spirit had certainly hidden its strength, but had acted frequently. It was not particularly surprising that some clues were noticed. But these were just some superficial clues. At least, that Tianji True Lord didn't know that the so-called Taiyang Divine Master and the Taiyin Sovereign actually originated from the same source. Otherwise, the Eastern Wing Lord would not have taken the initiative to come seeking him. The Taiyang Divine Master, I wish to invite you to join us and suppress that Taiyin Sovereign at the crucial moment. The Eastern Wing Evil God revealed his ultimate purpose. The actions of a Taiyin sovereign were undoubtedly shaking the foundation of evil god dominion over the boundless void. They must be stopped, or the consequences would be unimaginable. Indeed, the beings within those worlds cultivated by the current Taiyin sovereign are still extremely weak and pose no threat to any evil god. But in the deducible future depicted by Tianji True Lord, if allowed to develop unchecked, then those beings viewed as ants by the numerous evil gods would become stronger and stronger. Eventually, they would pose a threat to the rule of the evil gods. Thus, they must be eliminated in advance. No problem. Lin Yuan agreed, without much hesitation. His current strength, with either of the two primordial spirits, was stronger than a perfect divine master. As for the martial ancestor golden body, it was even stronger than the two primordial spirits. But overall, he was still at the same level as the perfect demonic divine masters. He had not stepped into the legendary 10th stage. Thus, facing many perfect demonic divine masters, he was still unable to achieve a sweep. In such a situation, having the Taiyang divine spirit temporarily blend with the interior of the evil gods was the best choice. At least he could be aware of the schemes of those perfect evil gods, so as to allow the Taiyin primordial spirit to react accordingly. If necessary, the two primordial spirits could even join forces to counter-slaughter those perfect evil gods. Of course, the unification of the two primordial spirits to massacre those perfect evil gods would have to be absolutely certain. This was very likely to force the core depths of the evil gods to appear in the world, leading to an all-out escalation of the war, and then resulting in a great battle throughout the entire boundless void. In such a case, Lin Yuan himself didn't care, relying on several physical body divine abilities, especially the elemental body. Preserving life was not an issue, and the worst outcome would just be to end the traversal early and return to the main universe. But this could likely affect the spread of the martial path evolutionary path. Normally speaking, Lin Yuan's main goal was still to delay time. As long as the true body venerable in the main universe grasped the spatial temporal fusion rule of the sixth realm, those perfect evil gods, no matter how they jumped, would be of no importance. Pity. The descent of consciousness is absolutely safe, but it cannot exert the strongest combat power. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Lin Yuan's strongest combat power, naturally, came from the true body venerable in the main universe. As for the martial ancestor golden body, descended into the boundless void, its heritage is indeed unique. But it still cannot compare with the true body venerable from the main universe. After all, The true body venerable from the main universe has gone through a complete chaos void origin infusion and various enhancements to both physical body and spirit, such as soaking in the eternal spring, nourishment from many universe rare treasures, and so on. The most important thing is that the main universe Lin Yuan has many trump cards at his disposal. Alright. Then at that time, I will contact the Taiyang Divine Master. The Eastern Wing Lord did not find anything surprising with Lin Yuan's agreement. Firstly, because his visit to invite was under the direction of Tianji True Lord. And Tianji True Lord? Even a perfect demon True Lord would give face and not offend lightly. Secondly, lower-ranking evil gods may be extremely selfish, but for those who have already stood at the peak of the boundless void as perfect demonic divine masters, their perspective differs from ordinary evil gods. The actions of the Taiyin sovereign are intolerable to all perfect demonic divine masters, unless truly unable to make a move. They would basically agree. If Lin Yuan had refused or hesitated, it would have aroused the suspicion of the Eastern Wing Lord. Watching the Eastern Wing Lord leave, Lin Yuan's gaze was deep. With his perception, he naturally noticed that the Eastern Wing Lord did not come alone. At a distant location, another powerful perfect evil god was watching. Is it that Tianji True Lord? Lin Yuan speculated in his heart. Tianji True Lord, known for wisdom, was able to command the respect of other many evil gods with his wisdom. The means of such a Tianji True Lord should definitely not be underestimated. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 19. What can you do to me? _2. To know, the demonic divine masters at the 9th stage, though all exceedingly wise, still inherently revered strength due to their evil deity nature. In such a case, the higher the status of the Tianji True Lord, the more extraordinary this perfect demon True Lord must be. Billions of miles away from where Lin Yuan was, on an ordinary hill stood a figure. This figure was a mere 10 meters tall, with a head nearly the size of its body. Unlike other evil gods, it had not a trace of malevolence, its eyes tranquil. This figure was none other than the Tianji True Lord, an anomaly amongst the many evil gods, renowned for wisdom. Tianji. I've already convinced the Taiyang Divine Master. The Taiyang Divine Master has also agreed to come to our aid when necessary. Just then, the Eastern Wing Lord approached quickly, standing below the Tianji True Lord, and spoke up. In fact, it wasn't just the Taiyang Divine Master who was a perfect Divine Master. On their way here, under the direction of the Tianji True Lord, the Eastern Wing Lord had visited several perfect demon True Lords. Looking across the entire boundless void, there were no more than 100 perfect demon True Lords. Which of them wasn't dominant in their own realm? Other perfect demons would have a hard time finding them even if they wanted to. Only the Tianji True Lord could know the whereabouts of most of them through peeking deductions. This Taiyang Divine Master has a great secret. In the boundless void for tens of millions of years, there have been no traces left by this Divine Master, said the Tianji True Lord, frowning slightly. Great secret, the Eastern Wing Lord said nonchalantly. Which one of us perfect Divine Masters doesn't have a great secret? As long as it doesn't threaten the boundless void, it's fine. Evil gods were solitary, especially the perfect demon True Lords who evolved to the 9th stage. They almost all harbored great secrets. Even the Eastern Wing Lord was aware that a few of the perfect demon True Lords did not grow up in the boundless void. They came from the deepest part of the Void's secret realm, a region that only the creators of the Void's secret realm could enter, filled with numerous void creatures. Over the long years, occasional rifts would appear in that space, allowing some weaker evil gods to fall in, with a great chance of evolving into perfect demon True Lords before making their way out. Tianji True Lord also couldn't detect any traces left by those few perfect demon True Lords. That's true. Tianji True Lord nodded. After all, the boundless void still had too many secrets unfathomed, with the void's secret realm being just one of them. As long as the Taiyang Divine Master didn't do what the Taiyin Sovereign did, nurturing those foods, Tianji True Lord couldn't be bothered to intervene. Tianji, isn't it enough to confront the Taiyin Sovereign with the 13 perfect Divine Masters we have convinced? The Eastern Wing Lord couldn't help but speak out. Before visiting Lin Yuan, the Eastern Wing Lord had already visited 12 perfect Demon True Lords. Adding themselves, there were 15 perfect Demon True Lords in total. It should be enough. Tianji True Lord nodded slightly, giving the Eastern Wing Lord a glance. The strength of the Taiyin Sovereign is above yours. To suppress without any risks, fear that we would need more than 10 perfect Demon True Lords. Among the perfect evil gods, there were levels to their abilities, winners and losers in their strength. Defeating is easy, but killing is as hard as ascending to heaven. Even for an ordinary perfect divine master, suppression might require 5 or 6 of the same rank. The strength of the Taiyin Sovereign was somewhat stronger than ordinary perfect divine masters. Mobilizing 10 of the same rank would be considered foolproof. I understand. The Eastern Wing Lord immediately nodded. In fact, according to the Eastern Wing Lord's estimate, no matter how strong the Taiyin Sovereign was, it shouldn't exceed the 9th stage by much. As long as it wasn't the 10th stage, 7 or 8 of the same rank would probably suffice. But 7 or 8 perfect divine masters attempting to suppress the Taiyin Sovereign could lead to accidents. For instance, during the Taiyin Sovereign's resistance, 2 or 3 perfect divine masters might get injured. Under such circumstances, naturally the more perfect divine masters, the better. After all, this was for the entire boundless void, and it didn't require the Eastern Wing Lord to pay any price. However, both this Taiyang Divine Master and the Taiyin Sovereign have appeared within 1,000 years. Tianji True Lord's eyes revealed a trace of doubt. If not for the opposite powers wielded by the Taiyang Divine Master and the Taiyin Sovereign, and the fact that one was in the Void's secret realm while the other was in the boundless void with even their actions distinctly different, Tianji True Lord would have even suspected any relation between the two. This must be a coincidence. The Eastern Wing Lord speculated. Although we evil gods can create incarnations, the power of the incarnation shares the same origin as the principal self and is much weaker. The difference between this Taiyang Divine Master and the Taiyin Sovereign is very clear. The Eastern Wing Lord spoke. The many abilities held by evil gods were indeed unfathomable, but also had to abide by the laws of the cosmos, of which the Eastern Wing Lord and Tianji True Lord were very aware. Let's see when the time comes. Tianji True Lord's eyes flashed. In fact, he had tasked the Eastern Wing Lord with the specific duty of inviting the Taiyang Divine Master this time to test whether there was any real connection between the two. According to the Eastern Wing Lord's description, the Taiyang Divine Master did not show any abnormalities, but the Tianji True Lord still had not let down his guard. As the perfect demon True Lord known for wisdom, Tianji True Lord would not easily trust anything. If the Taiyang Divine Master did not reveal any flaws now, Tianji True Lord didn't mind continuing to wait. 500 years? 1,000? 10,000? Or even longer? All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 19 What Can You Do to Me? _3. Time is hardly an issue for the Tianji True Lord. Even in dealing with the Taiyin Sovereign next, the Tianji True Lord will observe the response of the Taiyang Divine Master from the shadows. Boundless Void. Lin Yuan Taiyin Primordial Spirit sits cross-legged just outside a certain world. Thinking of assembling numerous perfect demon True Lords against me? Lin Yuan had an idea. If he were unaware of this, facing the union of more than 10 perfect demon True Lords, Lin Yuan would indeed find it somewhat troublesome. But since he knew in advance, it became much easier. With the current strength of my spirit will, I can probably maintain 50 avatars with basic combat power at the same time. Lin Yuan thought to himself. With Lin Yuan's strength, producing an avatar was nothing more than a strand of spirit will. However, To have this avatar possess combat power would exert a burden on Lin Yuan's spirit will. Before undertaking the 10th traversal, Lin Yuan's spirit will barely exceeded 1 million. In the main universe, at most 2 or 3 avatars could maintain basic combat power simultaneously. Now that Lin Yuan's spirit will exceeds 20 million, the number of avatars capable of maintaining basic combat power has significantly increased. Avatars are not the same as divided selves. Very little spirit will is invested, and thus, the mental burden required to maintain basic combat power is significant. Of course, maintaining basic combat power is relative to Lin Yuan's true body venerable. Even his weakest incarnation could easily suppress 10th rank and 9th rank powerhouses. Whereas basic combat power referred to demonstrating strength close to the threshold of Tier 11. Now Lin Yuan occupies a total of 42 worlds, each with an avatar station within, and these avatars, blessed by the origin source of the worlds, can fully challenge those perfect demon true lords. Perfect demon true lords, as per the classification of the main universe, are basically equivalent to the 4th and 5th layers of Tier 11. The perfect demon true lords might differ markedly from those 4th and 5th layer powerhouses in the main universe in terms of methods and abilities, but overall, they should be on the same level. Had it not been for the need of these avatars to utilize the origin source to barely exhibit the combat power of the 4th layer of Tier 11, Lin Yuan, with the power of so many avatars, could have actively encircled and killed those perfect demon true lords. The founder of the Void Secret Realm? Lin Yuan gazed into the depths of the boundless void, where his understanding of the spatio-temporal fusion rule allowed him to vaguely perceive a vast inner world situated at the deepest part of the void. The Taiyong divine spirit wandered in the void's secret realm for 300 to 400 years without pinpointing the trail of the realm's opener. This was also why Lin Yuan did not flip the table with those demonic divine masters. Even now, without grasping the space-time fusion rule sixfold realm, and thus unable to sweep through everything in this boundless void at once. Effortlessly slaying 10 or 20 perfect demon true lords would still be no issue. But such an action carries great risks, as it might force the opener of the void's secret realm to act, which, even if not fatal for Lin Yuan, could affect his 300 to 400 years of spreading martial Dao in the boundless void. Thus, Lin Yuan has been waiting until now, since time is working in his favor anyway. The longer the delay, the more terrifying the enemies those demons will have to face. Since those demons are planning to go all out against me, there's no need for me to be so cautious. Lin Yuan made up his mind. In the past 300 to 400 years, the Taiyin primordial spirit occupied one world after another, trying to stay as low-key as possible to avoid drawing the attention of other demonic gods. But now, it seems that this approach is not so meaningful. Those perfect demon true lords are discussing how to deal with him, so naturally, there is no need to continue as before. I can now maintain 50 avatars with basic combat power, so I can fully occupy 50 worlds and then dispatch avatars to preside over them. Lin Yuan's gaze shifted slightly as he looked towards the vast, boundless void. Once an avatar takes control of a world, it can swiftly replace the heavenly Tao with the power of the demon tree seed and gain the blessing of the world origin source. Thus, combat power soars again, reaching the threshold of the perfect demon true lords, and within the world, those perfect demon true lords would not dare to attack recklessly. Avatar at the threshold of perfect demon true lords is naturally no match for veteran perfect demon lords. At best, they could only challenge them, and they would definitely lose in a real fight. But within the world, those perfect demon true lords would certainly worry about self-destructive tactics, such as controlling the world's collapse, the power of which could at the very least gravely wound, if not wholly eradicate, a perfect demon at full strength. Under such circumstances, the perfect demon true lords, if not foolish, would not act rashly. Somewhere at the exit of the void secret realm, the figures of Tianji True Lord and Eastern Wing Lord appeared. The matters from here on will be handed over to you, Tianji True Lord said, looking at the Eastern Wing Lord. Now that the union with other perfect demon true lords has been orchestrated, the rest can be left to the Eastern Wing Lord. Held by me. Tianji, what do you plan to do? The Eastern Wing Lord was slightly startled and quickly asked, I have a hunch that the Taiyin sovereign's occupation of one world after another, cultivating the ants within as food, is not so simple. And there's martial Tao? Such a cultivation system, which greatly diverges from the growth of us demonic beings, can actually allow these ants to grow stronger. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 19, What Can You Do to Me? _4. Tianji True Lord's tone was slightly grave. In fact, when he learned that the Taiyin sovereign was occupying world after world, Tianji True Lord didn't care at all. A perfect demon true lord as mighty as he, what's the big deal with occupying dozens or even hundreds of worlds? Subsequently, knowing that the Taiyin sovereign was nurturing those mere ants within those worlds, Tianji True Lord still wasn't very concerned. Those ants within the worlds, whose talents and qualifications were far inferior to those of the perfect evil gods, could you really nurture them just because you wanted to? In Tianji True Lord's view, the actions of the Taiyin sovereign were nothing more than a personal hobby during his leisure time. It was not until Tianji True Lord saw the martial Tao cultivation system, Lin Yuan, occupying world after world, spreading the martial Tao cultivation system, Tianji True Lord, a perfect demon true lord like him, could easily see the martial Tao cultivation system if he so wished. However, upon seeing it, Tianji True Lord broke out in cold sweat. He immediately realized the potential of the martial Tao cultivation system. If one could cultivate this system to the end, they would be no weaker than they, the perfect demon true lords. How could this be? Because of this reason. Tianji True Lord observed the Taiyin sovereign seriously and finally, after witnessing the Taiyin sovereign's numerous interventions, determined that the opponent was concealing his strength, that his true combat power might exceed all evil gods' imagination. Just deal with that Taiyin sovereign, and then kill all the martial Tao cultivators, right? Eastern Wing Lord immediately said. Right now, the martial Tao cultivators were still exceedingly weak, and even compared with ordinary beings, they were a bit more delectable to the evil gods. I still have some worries. So, I plan to next put in a good effort to deduce, striving to find the source of martial Tao. Tianji True Lord said gravely. Okay. Eastern Wing Lord nodded. If there's anything, I will contact you right away. For Tianji True Lord's decision, Eastern Wing Lord had no objections. Time slowly passed. In the blink of an eye, 100 years went by. Tianqing World. Deep within the martial hall, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. Around his body, the power of fusion of time and space faintly formed a vast Milky Way. The river water rippled, each ripple causing a large amount of space-time fluctuations, but all space-time fluctuations were compressed within the martial hall. What exactly is fusion of time and space? Lin Yuan opened his eyes, deep in thought. When he first grasped the spatio-temporal fusion rule, Lin Yuan felt as if he had completely penetrated the fundamental mysteries of time and space. But with continuous cultivation and insight, second realm, third realm, fourth realm, fifth realm, Lin Yuan became more confused about the spatio-temporal fusion rule. Especially now, attempting to comprehend the sixfold realm of space-time fusion rules, he found himself unable to advance. From the third realm to the fifth realm of spatio-temporal fusion rules, Lin Yuan only took 100 years. But from the fifth realm to now, Lin Yuan spent 300 years without taking that step into the sixfold realm of space-time fusion rules. The space we live in is space-time, the time we experience is also space-time, and even the river of time I originally perceived is actually just one aspect. It's not just time but also encompasses space. It should be called the river of space-time. Many inspirations flashed through the depths of Lin Yuan's mind. During the comprehension of the secret skill, Milky Way, Lin Yuan's insight into the six-realm space-time fusion rule also kept increasing. Without this secret skill, it would take at least 10 times longer for Lin Yuan to get to this step. And that is based on the foundation of Against Heaven's understanding. Without Against Heaven's understanding, let alone Lin Yuan, who is now only 10th rank. Even those 11th rank lives can't possibly grasp the spatial temporal fusion rule of the 6th realm. Your understanding defies heaven. Comprehending the secret skill, Milky Way, further enhances your space-time fusion comprehension. Infinite inspiration burst forth, and the space-time, Milky Way, condensed around Lin Yuan's body suddenly began to surge wildly. The terrifying space-time fluctuation shuddered, yet instantly calmed down. I can feel it. I am not far from the space-time fusion rule sixfold realm. A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face. After 100 years of arduous cultivation, he finally glimpsed the threshold of the sixfold realm of space-time fusion rule. Continue. Lin Yuan was full of drive. If he could comprehend the sixfold realm of space-time fusion rules within the remaining 200 years of residence time, it would make this traversal complete. Even if he couldn't, for Lin Yuan, it was already a considerable gain. The peak comprehension of the fifth realm space-time fusion rules and nearly 24 million points of mental will index. Placed on other Tier 11 lives, even those unique and exceptionally talented special beings would not be able to accomplish it in 100 billion, 1,000 billion, or even a quintillion years. Especially the latter, 24 million mental will index points would be enough to make any Tier 11 life despair. Meanwhile, outside the Tianqing world, a figure silently appeared. This figure was 10 meters in size, with a head nearly as large as its body, eyes serene. Yet now it was seriously observing the celestial cyan world in the distance. 100 years, I've expended endless heart force, did all I could to deduce and peak, finally locking down this location from the many traces left by the Taiyin sovereign. Tianji True Lord's expression was slightly emotional. Only he himself knew the price he had paid to find this place. If my deduction is correct, that world is the birthplace of martial Tao. The source of the martial Tao cultivation system spread by the Taiyin sovereign is right here. Tianji True Lord's spirit was uplifted, although he didn't know why the Taiyin sovereign spread martial Tao like that, but since it was possible to find the source of martial Tao, it was entirely possible to cut off the spread of martial Tao from the root. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 19. What can you do to me? _5. Thus, within the boundless void, the dominion of the evil gods can no longer be shaken. Eastern Wing and the others have already entangled the Taiyin sovereign. Using this opportunity, I can fully explore this world. The Tianji True Lord was very cautious. Even if the Taiyin sovereign couldn't return in a short time, he didn't consider sending his true body into the Tianqing world. Instead, he split off an incarnation, while his true body stayed far away, controlling the incarnation to explore the Tianqing world. Buzz. Very quickly, an incarnation of the Tianji True Lord swiftly entered the Tianqing world. For a being like the Tianji True Lord, a perfect demon True Lord, invading a world of this scale like the Tianqing world was effortless, especially since the Tianji True Lord was skilled in wisdom, which made it so easy to enter the Tianqing world. This world has nothing special. The Tianji True Lord glanced around and compared to the 50 worlds occupied by the Taiyin sovereign, some of the powerful worlds were tens of times larger than the Tianqing world. Next, the Tianji True Lord mingled among the beings of the Tianqing world, beginning to probe the details of this world. This world also prevalently practices martial Tao. The Tianji True Lord quickly learned everything he wanted to know. That is the true source of martial Tao. Martial ancestor? The Tianji True Lord's expression turned solemn, hearing this term for the first time. Previously, from those dozens of worlds occupied by the Taiyin sovereign, he had only investigated the martial Tao cultivation system and the martial Tao cultivators. As for martial ancestor, he hadn't heard it from any martial Tao cultivator. Martial ancestor is the source of martial Tao. Is martial Tao spread by the martial ancestor? The Tianji True Lord carefully pondered. Who exactly is this martial ancestor? Could it be the Taiyin sovereign? Martial ancestor resides in the martial hall of the canopy realm. The Tianji True Lord gathered more information. Where the martial ancestor was not a secret in the Tianqing world. Basically, any martial Dao cultivator would know. That is the martial hall. For centuries, every once in a while, the high priest of the martial hall would hold ceremonies to venerate the martial ancestor, leading all beings of heaven and earth to bow to the martial ancestor. Martial hall. The Tianji True Lord decided to go and investigate the reality of the martial ancestor. Since he was just an incarnation now, even if he really encountered any danger, it wouldn't cause any problems. Even if the Taiyin sovereign rushed back, he couldn't harm him. Swoosh. Shortly after, the Tianji True Lord arrived at the Canopy continent. Although this was just an incarnation of the Tianji True Lord, with the realm of the original body, no martial Dao cultivator detected him along the way. Is this ancient tree also a demon? The Tianji True Lord glanced at the ancestral demon tree. Although it has been nurtured in the Tianqing world for hundreds of thousands of years, its essence of being a demon was unchanged. This is the martial hall? Quickly, the Tianji True Lord arrived in front of a grand hall. The aura emanating from here was substantial, causing the Tianji True Lord to halt his steps. Martial ancestor is deep within the martial hall. The Tianji True Lord thought for a moment, not acting rashly. At this point, the Tianji True Lord felt an inexplicable pressure deep in his heart. Let's see who this martial ancestor really is, which True Lord is playing tricks. The Tianji True Lord focused his thoughts, immediately employing techniques to begin projecting many scenes inside the martial hall. What Tianji True Lord was best at was divination and spying. Divination and spying are two aspects of abilities, and the latter allowed Tianji True Lord to see many secrets of the world. Rustle. Deep within the Tianji True Lord's eyes, scenes of the martial hall began to emerge. The scene started moving towards the depths of the martial hall. The Tianji True Lord saw the rituals and many martial Dao cultivators and believers who were step-by-step worshipping. The scenes the Tianji True Lord was watching finally reached the innermost part of the martial hall. This place was now empty. No one dared to cross into this area unless permitted by the martial ancestor. The grand hall was eerily silent, with a solemn atmosphere converging faintly. The Tianji True Lord looked around cautiously, spotting a figure sitting cross-legged at the end of the great hall. Is that the martial ancestor? The Tianji True Lord's mind shook. Immediately, he began to delve deeper into his scrutiny. The view swiftly zoomed in closer. The Tianji True Lord wanted a closer look at the martial ancestor. Just then, the martial ancestor, who was sitting cross-legged, silently opened his eyes. All of Tianji True Lord's attention was drawn to those eyes. Boom. The next moment, the spying incarnation of the Tianji True Lord exploded instantly. Far away from the Tianqing world, a mysterious backlash, following the connection between the true body and the incarnation, descended. The original form of the Tianji True Lord suddenly began to tremble. This cultivation system, distinct from the growth path of evil gods, surprised the child of the void. What a pity! The conclusion is already determined. The child of the void shook his head slightly. As long as he controlled the void's secret realm, these cultivators of martial Tao could not make significant waves. The great child of the void, that Taiyin sovereign has not shown himself, reported Lord Divine Eye as he returned and respectfully addressed the child of the void. Forget it, just destroy this world directly. The child of the void spoke. Having observed for a brief time, his power had recovered a large part, already capable of mobilizing the full power of the void's secret realm. There was no need to waste more time here. Okay. Lord Divine Eye approached the world once again, spreading with martial Tao, and opened his large mouth. Space and time began to distort, intending to swallow the world whole. 7th stage and 8th stage evil gods needed time to devour a world bite by bite, but for a 9th stage perfect demon true lord like Lord Divine Eye, it only took one mouthful to engulf the world before him. Rumble, rumble. The world began to tremble. The beings within the world watched as a gaping maw appeared outside their world, biting down towards the entire world. Suddenly, at that moment, Lord Divine Eye's expression changed, and instantly he ceased the swallowing motion, allowing the about-to-be-devoured world to slowly shift back to its place. There, Lord Divine Eye gazed intently in a certain direction, precisely the one that Tianji True Lord had pointed out earlier, the Tianqing world, where the martial ancestor was stationed. At this moment, within the sight of Lord Divine Eye's perception, ripples of space and time continuously spread from that direction, swiftly covering a large part of the boundless void. Not just Lord Divine Eye, all of the other perfect demon true lords were also simultaneously focusing on the source of the spatio-temporal fluctuations, their expressions extremely solemn. Such a change affecting the entire boundless void was almost unprecedented for most of them. Child of the Void? The Tianji True Lord was the same, but he was the first to react, turning his head towards the Child of the Void standing by his side. However, the Child of the Void was no longer standing in his original place. Tianji True Lord looked around and found that, at some unknown point, the Child of the Void had already positioned himself in front of all the demon true lords, gazing in the direction of the Tianqing world, seemingly peering at the presence of some existence. The Child of the Void's gaze was solemn like never before, as if facing a formidable enemy. The heavens, the earth, and the spirits all honor the martial Tao. What a martial ancestor of martial Tao. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 22 Visiting Martial Ancestor. Please subscribe. The Child of the Void stood towering, silently observing the direction of the Tianqing world. Even now, having mostly recovered his powers and able to mobilize the entire Void's secret realm. With just a thought, he could suppress everything in the boundless void. Yet, the Child of the Void focused intently on the source of the temporal fluctuations, his mind filled with doubts and speculations. Behind him, the perfect demon true lords were similarly engaged, among them ancient beings whose existence spanned even beyond that of the Child of the Void, tracing back to before the Void secret realm was formed. This current temporal fluctuation seemed to have sparked a memory in the oldest of the demonic divine masters, a flicker of fear crossing their faces. Countless epochs had passed since the birth of the boundless void, with many demonic divine masters dominating their realms. But even the perfect demonic divine masters of the ninth stage could not fundamentally shake the boundless void. Historically, there had been 3 instances of such significant impact on the entire boundless void. The first was when the boundless void birthed its first 10th stage evil god, merging seamlessly with the rules of the boundless void, majestically mighty. The second instance was when this 10th stage evil god founded the void's secret realm, fundamentally altering the boundless void with its creation, leaving a profound impact. The third instance was when the Child of the Void became the new ruler of the Void's secret realm, unleashing its power and causing temporal fluctuations throughout the boundless void. And now, there was a fourth instance. The temporal fluctuations originating from the Tianqing world hinted at engulfing the entirety of the boundless void. There was a common factor in all 4 instances. They were related to the 10th stage. During the third instance, the Child of the Void had assumed control of the Void's secret realm. Although not yet stepping into the 10th stage himself, the Void's secret realm had been painstakingly established by a being of the 10th stage. It was closely linked to the 10th stage. This temporal fluctuation? Is it the 10th stage? Has the boundless void birthed another 10th stage existence? Yes, this feeling reminds me of the time when the founder of the Void's secret realm stepped into the 10th stage. The effects on space-time were similar to now. The perfect demon true lords were shocked. They thought that the Child of the Void, the next to ascend to the 10th stage in the boundless void, had, after all, the Child of the Void controlled the Void's secret realm, which was fully created by the previous 10th stage evil god. Being constantly in tune with the very essence of the Void's secret realm, The child of the void had a greater likelihood of stepping into the 10th stage than any other perfect demon true lord.
But now?
The child of the void stood right before them. Did this mean that someone else had entered into the 10th stage? Could it be that martial ancestor from Tianqing world? Tianji true lords felt a chill. The sources of the temporal fluctuations were blatant, with no intent to conceal, perceivable to any 9th stage demonic divine masters. Tianji true lord had personally visited Tianqing world, estimating that the source of the fluctuations was near there. With the martial ancestor stationed in Tianqing world, it was difficult for Tianji true lord not to speculate about him causing these vast temporal disruptions within the boundless void. Martial ancestor? 10th stage. Tianji true lord was fraught with fear. He had, not long ago, gathered a group of evil gods to attack Taiyin sovereign, even venturing into Tianqing world to spy on the martial ancestor's stronghold. Looking back, it seemed a perilous venture. Great child of the void, what should we do now? Lord Divine I mustered his courage and asked cautiously. He had nearly swallowed that world whole but stopped abruptly due to the temporal fluctuations. The shock was evident. Lord Divine I's inquiry turned everyone's gaze toward the child of the void. What should we do? The child of the void remained silent. Unlike the other evil gods who only sensed the source of the temporal fluctuations, the child of the void, controlling the void's secret realm, perceived much more acutely. With the power of the void's secret realm, his gaze had even fallen onto Tianqing world. If not for the rich presence of space-time powers within Tianqing world, which made him wary, the child of the void might have even considered a forceful investigation. Let's go and see. The child of the void slowly proposed. Regardless of whether the martial ancestor had achieved the 10th stage, he would make the journey. If the martial ancestor truly became a 10th stage existence, the child of the void would certainly lead the demonic divine masters to demonstrate their allegiance. Inevitably, as the ruler of the void's secret realm, the child of the void was acutely aware of the terror a 10th stage being could inspire. Admittedly, with the aid of the void's secret realm, the child of the void believed he could exhibit the combat power of the 10th stage. But to contend with the true 10th stage being, the child of the void had no assurance. If he couldn't contend, then he must offer his submission. In the realm of the evil gods, the law of the jungle dictated the weak serve the strong. If the martial ancestor had not ascended to the 10th stage, the child of the void had no intention of being hostile. This visit would be to ease relations with the martial ancestor. The current temporal fluctuation, even if not indicative of an ascension to the 10th stage, hinted at something akin to handling relics comparable to the void's secret realm, a legacy of a 10th stage being. Just as the child of the void controlled the void's secret realm. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 22 Visiting Martial Ancestor. Please subscribe. _2. Under such circumstances, even if the child of the void gave it his all, he was powerless against the martial ancestor. It was better to turn warfare into a peace offering. At the level of the child of the void, in the vast and boundless void, what he truly sought was to step into the 10th stage. Anything else was illusory. Let's go. The child of the void glanced at the many demonic divine masters and directly used the power of the void's secret realm to begin a long-distance shift, heading towards the Tianqing world. Tianqing world. Deep within the martial hall. Currently, thick spatio-temporal fluctuations filled the air as Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. The volatile force of space and the abstruse force of time were, in his presence, like docile kittens, manipulated at will. So, this is the space-time fusion rule sixfold realm? A smile appeared on Lin Yuan's face as he had completely stepped into the sixth realm of the space-time fusion rule in his understanding, rising to the level of the mighty. Of course, this was just the understanding of space-time. He had barely reached the level of the mighty in terms of power. In terms of actual strength, the gap between him and the mighty was still like a chasm. If the understanding of the space-time fusion rule is likened to a sort of skill, then the factors affecting strength besides the skill would also be the power itself. Under the same level of skill, one party has the strength of 100 pounds while the other 100 tons. Both sides engage in combat. It would certainly be a one-sided crush, and the sixfold realm of space-time fusion is merely the threshold of the mighty in the realm of space-time fusion. Aside from this fusion rule, the mighty masters many other fusion rules and even transforms a certain pillar rule into a pathway corresponding to themselves. The sixfold realm of space-time fusion rule signifies a qualitative change, involving the power to break free from the constraints of the river of space-time. Lin Yuan observed the vast space-time, and many insights came to him. Why is the sixfold realm of space-time fusion rule acclaimed as the domain of the mighty? It is because at this height of space-time fusion, one has begun to form a miniature river of space-time. Lin Yuan did not doubt that he now had the capacity to strike at the ultimate realm if he was willing. The commonly held belief among the 10,000 races of the cosmic starry sky that only at the 11th rank peak one could strike at the ultimate is because life forms at the 11th rank peak have barely reached the threshold to make a strike at the ultimate. But Lin Yuan? Although he was only at the 10th stage, there was no difference between him and those 11th rank peak life forms, and in some aspects he was even stronger, such as in the understanding of space-time fusion rule and the index of his mental willpower, etc. Of course, Lin Yuan could indeed make a strike at the ultimate, but whether he could succeed was another matter. However, at the very least, even if Lin Yuan were to directly attempt to strike at the ultimate now, he would have a greater chance of success than those legendary beings like the four divine kings. And in this, the understanding of the space-time fusion rule up to the sixfold realm and the index of mental willpower are very important. My inner universe. Lin Yuan's will descended upon his inner universe. The greatest impact of reaching the sixfold realm of space-time fusion rule on Lin Yuan was reflected in his inner universe. Within the inner universe, space and time began to merge, and a miniature version of the river of space-time formed faintly. Even if it was just an embryonic form, the emergence of the miniature river of space-time transformed the aura of the inner universe. It's a pity that my inner universe has still not broken through its upper limit, surpassing 2.3 billion li in diameter. Lin Yuan felt some regret, but he quickly accepted it. Among the 10,000 races of the cosmic starry sky, many powerful beings are confined by the upper limits of their racial bloodlines, and the ultimate size of their inner universes typically ranges between 10 million li to several tens of millions. Lin Yuan's inner universe, having reached 2.3 billion li in diameter, has far surpassed any life in the main universe, including those unique and unparalleled special lives. With my current understanding of the space-time fusion rule, if I strike at the 11th rank and withstand the chaos void origin infusion, could I break the shackles of my inner universe? Lin Yuan speculated in his heart. Normally, an 11th rank peak making a strike at the ultimate realm and undergoing the chaos void origin infusion would undergo a substantial leap in the essence of life, breaking free from the constraints of the river of space-time, with the inner universe evolving towards a universe within. All aspects of the inner universe would break the original shackles, and the inner universes of the mighty would start from tens to hundreds of thousands of light years in diameter. This is why, even after realizing the space-time fusion rule sixfold realm, Lin Yuan has no thoughts of rivaling the mighty. The gap is too vast. How vast must be the force wielded by an inner universe ranging from tens to hundreds of thousands of light years? I'll find out when I push for the 11th rank. Lin Yuan pondered for a while, then no longer dwelled on it. His current conditions were completely unprecedented, not to mention human civilization, even among the entire 10,000 races of the cosmic starry sky, not to speak of the lengthy cosmic eras before, no forerunner can be found. Receiving chaos void origin infusion when striking from the 9th rank to the 10th rank. Comprehending the sixfold realm of space-time fusion rule at the 10th stage. Exceeding 24 million points in the index of mental willpower when at the 10th stage. having an inner universe with a diameter reaching 2.3 billion li, and so on. Each of the aforementioned conditions, if placed on any being, would dominate a single or even several cosmic eras. And now all of them are concentrated on Lin Yuan. The future is completely unpredictable. Outside the Tianqing world, the child of the void and many perfect demonic divine masters emerged one after the other. Is this the source of the spatio-temporal fluctuations? That existence, who is suspected to have entered the 10th stage, is actually residing in such a small world. It's unbelievable. One perfect demon, true lord after another muttered, for normally, the more powerful a life form is, the higher its requirements for its spatial environment. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability, creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 22, Visiting Martial Ancestor. Please subscribe. _3. Like these perfect demon true lords, most are either roaming the boundless void or dwelling long in the void's secret realm. As for cowering within a single world, that would be too stifling. Tianqing world. The child of the void carefully observed the Tianqing-colored world in its original location. Intense fluctuations of space-time were almost overflowing, and under such fluctuations, the child of the void was entirely unable to obtain any slight information about the Tianqing world, unable to reverse time to glimpse the past of the Tianqing world. Is it truly entering the 10th stage, or like me, becoming the keeper of some 10th stage legacy treasure? The child of the void did not reach a conclusion. Although whichever possibility it was, he would no longer oppose the martial ancestor. It decided the child of the void's final attitude towards the martial ancestor. Great child of the void, should I go inform that martial ancestor that we are right outside? Lord Divine, I glanced and tentatively asked, inform the martial ancestor? The child of the void glanced at Lord Divine Eye. Even if it was not possible to determine right now which possibility the martial ancestor actually was, even if it was the lowest possibility, he was still in existence at the same level as the child of the void. Under such circumstances, go inform the martial ancestor? The child of the void naturally wasn't foolish. Facing weaker ones, he was naturally absolutely domineering, but facing at least an equal existence like the martial ancestor, who might even surpass him. The child of the void knew what to do. We just wait here. The child of the void said indifferently. With the martial ancestor's strength, he must have already noticed their arrival. If he wanted to meet, he would naturally appear. If he didn't want to meet, even if Lord Divine I went to inform, they wouldn't be able to meet. Yes. Lord Divine I steadied his spirit, and also knew that his previous words were inappropriate. Tianqing world. The appearance of the child of the void and many demonic divine masters, although they tried as much as possible to conceal their aura and were waiting quite far away from the world. Still, it influenced the creatures within the world. There was no help. The suppression coming from the demonic divine masters was simply too strong, especially the cohort of perfect demonic divine masters, as well as the existence of the child of the void, who governed the void's secret realm. At this moment, any demonic divine master standing outside the world possessed the strength to easily swallow the entire Tianqing world. Those demonic divine masters. Great Priest Qingyao briefly connected mentally with the ancestral demon tree, sensing the vague outlines of the child of the void and many demonic divine masters, and her spirit trembled uneasily. The intense fluctuations of space-time originating deep within the martial hall, in the eyes of the perfect demonic divine masters, appeared as conspicuous as the great sun in the sky, but to the creatures within the world, they were completely imperceptible. The gap in levels was simply too vast. The ordinary beings couldn't even perceive the basic spatial fluctuations, not to mention the fusion of time and space. However, although Great Priest Qingyao couldn't discern the changes coming deep within the martial hall, she distinctly felt, at this moment outside the world, the terrifying contours of each demonic divine master. The aura revealed by any demonic divine master's counter could destroy the Tianqing world hundreds to thousands of times, as remembered by Great Priest Qingyao. It's over. Great Priest Qingyao felt completely hopeless. Hundreds of years ago, facing the invasion of the Magic Eye and Myriad Tentacle Stream, she still had the courage to resist or even undertake a fight to mutual destruction. But now, the indescribable contours of the demonic divine masters outside the world stifled even the thought of resistance in Great Priest Qingyao. The only thing Great Priest Qingyao couldn't understand was why those inexpressibly powerful demonic divine masters were now quietly standing outside the world, showing no hint of making a move. Deep within the martial hall, Lin Yuan carefully sensed the changes within himself, as a miniature formation of a river of space-time began taking shape inside his internal world, causing his internal world to begin transforming, which in turn greatly elevated Lin Yuan's physical and soul capacities. As for the will of the heart, the body nurtures the soul, and the soul nurtures the will of the heart. Logically, the transformation of the internal world would also affect the will of the heart. But Lin Yuan's will of the heart was now incredibly strong, having reached an all-encompassing level, thus barely undergoing any change. Lin Yuan's current strength of will, he estimated, would only be impacted when attempting to break through the 11th stage, or perhaps directly during the ultimate breakthrough. The stronger the will of the heart, the more difficult it is to enhance, especially reaching 10 million points, which can't be improved just by experiencing the passage of time. Before reaching 10 million points in the will of the heart index, the longer one lives, the greater the impact on the will of the heart, but once past 10 million points, this impact rapidly diminishes. Those demonic divine masters have come? Lin Yuan scanned outside the world. With his current level, he had already sensed the presence of those demonic divine masters, including the child of the void within his perception. For Lin Yuan, the existence of the child of the void was quite special. He was connected with that void's secret realm, able to resonate at any moment between the two. Never mind, let's deal with them first. Lin Yuan stood up, took a step forward, and appeared outside the martial hall. Martial ancestor. Seeing Lin Yuan, Great Priest Qingyao immediately spoke with utmost gravity. Many powerful demonic divine masters suddenly appeared outside. No matter. Lin Yuan shook his head and said, "They are here to pay respects to me." Ah. Great Priest Qingyao was somewhat slow to react. Those indescribably terrifying demonic divine masters were here to pay respects to the martial ancestor? To pay respects? Outside the world, the child of the void and many demonic divine masters quietly waited. Including the child of the void, no demonic divine master revealed any signs of impatience. At that moment, whoosh! An intangible wave of space-time arrived, appearing before all the demonic divine masters as a perfectly formed young man congealed, his eyes calm as the ocean of time and space, gazing at the many demonic divine masters. The body Lin Yuan was inhabiting was formed through 10,000 years of cultivation by the ancestral demon tree using the origin source of the Tianqing world, naturally reaching a perfectly flawless state in all aspects, not a single flaw to be found. Martial ancestor has come. The moment all the demonic divine masters saw Lin Yuan, their level of nervousness escalated to the highest, incredibly cautious and earnest. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 23. Wherever the mind goes, it reaches. Please subscribe. Beyond this world. In the boundless void, Lin Yuan stood quietly, his gaze serenely observing the many demonic divine masters. And all demonic divine masters, likewise cautiously, surveyed Lin Yuan. Lord Divine Eye, Eastern Wing Lord, and other perfect demon true lords faintly sensed an endless surge of the power of space-time emanating from Lin Yuan's body, observing the martial ancestor as if observing the immense, boundless void. The majestic power of space-time poured continuously towards the deep recesses of the spatial layers, thereby affecting the surrounding time and space, condensing out its own home field advantage. It was just like the relationship between the child of the void and the void's secret realm. The difference was that the void's secret realm of the child of the void came from the realm's creator, while Lin Yuan relied entirely on his own influence. This scene made the hearts and minds of all demonic divine masters on the field tremble, and in the end, they didn't even dare to continue their furtive observations. The aura of the martial ancestor is too terrifying. In front of him, I can't even muster up the courage to strike, thought one perfect demon true lord after another. Thankfully, the great child of the void has no intention of engaging with the martial ancestor, otherwise wouldn't we just be cannon fodder? As perfect demon true lords with mastery over numerous bizarre abilities, death was difficult even if they sought it, but once involved in a fight related to the 10th stage, they could only resign themselves to fate. Too powerful, many times stronger than what my incarnated spirit saw decades ago. Tianji True Lord's scalp exploded, subconsciously moving back. It feels like even the great child of the void is somewhat inferior. I wonder if the martial ancestor has really stepped into the 10th stage. Thinking this, Tianji True Lord instinctively glanced at the child of the void. Whether the martial ancestor had stepped into the 10th stage, these perfect demon true lords couldn't tell. For both Tianji True Lord and Eastern Wing Lord, they could only feel the martial ancestor's strength, and it would require no effort to kill them. That was all. And this, the child of the void could achieve by leveraging the power of the void's secret realm. Therefore, the many demonic divine masters had no way to know exactly what level the martial ancestor was at. To judge the martial ancestor's true power, only the child of the void, holder of the void's secret realm, could be certain. The child of the void also observed the martial ancestor closely in the void. There's no aura of any treasure left by existences of the 10th stage. The child of the void thought to himself. In fact, as soon as he felt that spatial temporal fluctuation, he believed that the possibility of the martial ancestor stepping into the 10th stage was greater than that of the martial ancestor coming into possession of treasures left by existences of the 10th stage. Thus far, the only known 10th stage existence in the boundless void was the creator of the void's secret realm. The child of the void, as the new holder of the void's secret realm, did not believe that the creator had left behind any treasures comparable to the void's secret realm. Even if the martial ancestor fulfilled all sorts of prerequisite conditions for becoming the possessor of a 10th stage legacy treasure, there wouldn't be a 10th stage legacy treasure available to him. But until seeing for himself, everything was unknown. The child of the void only speculated those two possibilities. I have seen the martial ancestor. The child of the void bowed slightly toward Lin Yuan. Without any aura of a treasure left by the 10th stage, it meant that the degree of the power of space-time Lin Yuan emitted was completely on his own. That is to say, the martial ancestor had indeed stepped into the 10th stage, becoming the second 10th stage powerhouse in the history of this boundless void. Such an existence was worth the veneration of this bow from the child of the void. I have seen the martial ancestor. I have seen the martial ancestor. I have seen the martial ancestor. Seeing this, the other many perfect demon true lords did not hesitate to follow the child of the void in bowing to Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan swept a glance at the many demonic divine masters, with no surprise whatsoever. In the face of absolute power, any rebellion is meaningless. The more powerful the demonic divine master, the clearer this truth is. Therefore, the submission of the many demonic divine masters in Lin Yuan's heart was completely expected. In fact, even if these demonic divine masters didn't submit, it wouldn't affect Lin Yuan at all. He would simply annihilate all those who didn't submit. And wouldn't all the remaining be those who submitted? The martial ancestor wishes to spread martial Tao, and I am willing to cooperate. The child of the void immediately declared its position. Since Taiyin Sovereign was put forth as a publicly recognized powerhouse by the martial ancestor, that meant that the spread of martial Tao must originate from the martial ancestor himself. Under such circumstances, the child of the void naturally expressed its stance in a timely manner. Although saying so, the spread of martial Tao would enable the beings within worlds regarded as food by the demonic divine masters to grow further in strength, potentially having the capacity to rival demonic divine masters in the future. But the child of the void was clear in its heart. If they were to prevent the spread of martial Tao, it was likely that the demonic divine masters wouldn't have a future, as they would be slaughtered cleanly by the martial ancestor. Perhaps the child of the void, by harnessing the power of the void's secret realm, could hide in the deepest recesses of the realm and cling on to life, but for other demonic divine masters, it was less certain. At least the boundless void outside of the void's secret realm would completely become the domain of martial Tao cultivators, and even a large portion of the void's secret realm itself would be occupied by the martial ancestor. So, the child of the void simply chose to cooperate with the martial ancestor, because even the worst outcome would not be as bad as standing in complete opposition to the martial ancestor. To spread martial Tao, ceding half of the domains within the boundless void and the void's secret realm will suffice. Lin Yuan slowly spoke, stating his demands. Actually, with Lin Yuan's strength, even if he completely occupied the boundless void, neither the child of the void nor the numerous demonic divine masters would dare to say anything. However, doing so would not be beneficial for the development of martial Tao itself. Without the oppression of the foreign evil gods, within the many worlds of the boundless void, those martial Tao cultivators would lack pressure, and the probability of high-level martial Tao cultivators being born would greatly decrease. Not everyone possesses Lin Yuan's against heaven's understanding, able to smoothly break through with just a simple closed-door cultivation. The vast majority of martial Tao cultivators will be trapped before certain shackles for most of their lives. Without external stimulation, they may never step into the next realm in their entire lifetime. Of course, such actions from Lin Yuan would lead to the increased casualties of martial Tao cultivators, with countless martial Tao cultivators perishing in the struggle against the evil gods. But is Lin Yuan a nanny? To fight for half the territory of this boundless void for all beings that are considered food, and then be responsible for their safety? From beginning to end, Lin Yuan had only one goal. That is to spread martial Tao, to let as many living beings practice martial Tao as possible, and to give birth to more high-level martial Tao cultivators. The importance of the latter even surpasses the former. In Lin Yuan's heart, as long as 1/5 rank or 6th rank martial Tao cultivator can be born, it is worth the death of 100,000 or even 1,000,000 4th rank or 5th rank martial Tao cultivators. Even if the evil gods in the boundless void could not practice martial Tao, Lin Yuan would be more willing to shelter the evil gods. After all, with their average talent and aptitude, once they practice martial Tao, their starting point would be far beyond what the living beings within the world could compare to. Just taking away half of the boundless void and the void's secret realm. Apart from providing enough pressure for martial Tao cultivators, stimulating martial Tao to develop more vigorously, Lin Yuan also had another purpose, which was to maintain the balance between the evil gods and martial Tao cultivators in the boundless void as much as possible. Once the spatio-temporal fusion rule reached the 6th realm, Lin Yuan could see through the essence of this boundless void at a glance. That is the origin of the evil gods. Evil gods are nurtured from the boundless void, meaning the evil gods are endless. Even if Lin Yuan had the ability to slaughter all evil gods, after tens of millions or even hundreds of millions of years, a new batch of evil gods would still be bred. These evil gods are inherently powerful, even capable of reaching the 8th stage or 9th stage in a short period by devouring their own kind. By then, the newly born evil gods, finding that most of the outer space is occupied by weak beings, will inevitably stir up a new war. And Lin Yuan cannot be residing permanently in this boundless void, even though every descent only consumes 1/3 of a strand of world-breaking origin force. But it would still be painful if done many times. Therefore, leaving half of the territory to these evil gods would save Lin Yuan a lot of trouble. At least, the evil gods and martial Tao cultivators can maintain balance, and as the long years pass, under the oppression of the evil gods, martial Tao cultivators will gradually become stronger, and the evil gods themselves also have their own territories, Naturally, they won't recklessly fight to the death with martial Tao cultivators. No problem. The child of the void didn't even think about it and agreed directly. Half of the territory of the boundless void, half of the territory of the void's secret realm. It seems that the entire evil god clan would lose half of their growth space, but in reality, as long as they can stabilize martial ancestor, a 10th stage existence, it's not really a cost at all. There is another matter. Lin Yuan looked at the child of the void and spoke again. Please speak, martial ancestor. That is, void creatures can't enter the boundless void. Strictly speaking, the void's secret realm is a net formed from the boundless void towards the dimensional gaps and is essentially still within the dimensional gaps. Thus, void creatures can survive in the secret realm, simply unable to leave. But that's all there is to it. Any void creature that truly enters the dimension of the boundless void will irreversibly perish, no matter what method or means of isolation are used. This is also why Lin Yuan has never seen these void creatures outside of the void's secret realm. And if they can't even enter the boundless void, let alone the chaos void where the main universe is located, this makes Lin Yuan quite regretful. You see, killing these void creatures directly and significantly enhances the strength of spiritual willpower. Such an event in the main universe would be nothing short of a fantasy. At least, with Lin Yuan's current status in human civilization, he has never heard of such treasures. There are means to enhance spiritual willpower, but a significant enhancement? And such a straightforward significant enhancement without any theoretical basis. That is to say, if Lin Yuan could bring these void creatures to the main universe, even if he does not wish to aid enemies, merely exchanging within human civilization, he could obtain unimaginable merit points and 12-star treasures. There's no doubt those 10th and 11th stage evolvers of human civilization would spare no expense to enhance their spiritual willpower, even just a little bit. As for the amount of world-breaking origin force needed to bring void creatures from the boundless void back to the main universe, as long as the gain is substantial enough, Lin Yuan wouldn't mind spending the world-breaking origin force to do so. Essentially, the world-breaking origin force is a type of resource, and this resource is renewable. Unfortunately, void creatures can't survive in any dimension, which means Lin Yuan's idea of trading between two realms is directly thwarted. Even if Lin Yuan cannot bring void creatures to the main universe, he has ways to let the human evolvers of the main universe enjoy the most direct enhancement of spiritual willpower by killing void creatures. That is to directly bring them to the boundless void, enter the void's secret realm, and then kill those void creatures. The Myriad Realms Gate can transport physical bodies and can also carry items from the main universe. Naturally, it is also capable of bringing other life forms to the traversed worlds. It's merely a question of how much world-breaking origin force is consumed. Since void creatures cannot leave, then let human civilization evolvers from the main universe come here. But this method is very risky and can easily expose the secret of the Myriad Realms Gate. Means of traversing different dimensions. Even those beings close to a perfect time being cannot achieve it directly, and Lin Yuan easily did it? And brought someone along? The Myriad Realms Gate is Lin Yuan's biggest trump card, far surpassing Xianhuang's secret realm, Demon Jade Space, and others. It absolutely must not be revealed even a bit. That's why, even though this method is highly feasible and the potential gains are immense, relying on Lin Yuan's connection with the Tianqing world, bringing one human civilization evolver over, and consuming at most a couple strands of world-breaking origin force is possible. And the gains might be the vast majority of that evolver's lifetime savings. But Lin Yuan absolutely wouldn't take such a risk. Even in the future, when Lin Yuan becomes the ultimate being, he won't proceed with such an action. If able to step into the ultimate realm, Lin Yuan might choose to reveal the Xianhuang's secret realm, but the Myriad Realms Gate? Better not. The remaining void creature monarchs can stay here. Lin Yuan finally glanced at the space inside the boulder, then took a step and disappeared on the spot. Next, Lin Yuan began to traverse the void's secret realm, carefully experiencing every detail of this realm. With his sixth realm of temporal sensation, Lin Yuan could see through everything in the void's secret realm at a glance, but seeing through doesn't mean it's not helpful. With the aid of the Void's secret realm, Lin Yuan could observe the path taken by the realm's creator. Although that creator failed in their attempt to reach the ultimate, reaching the 10th stage means potential is not an issue. Failing to reach the ultimate cannot deny this point. After all, failing to reach the ultimate involves various factors, and bad luck is very likely. After spending 5 years, Lin Yuan explored every corner of the Void secret realm. He then began exploring the entire boundless void. Compared to the Void secret realm, the boundless void is much simpler, but it drained more of Lin Yuan's energy. After all, the Void secret realm is artificially created. Even if it contains the path of a 10th stage existence, it can't compare to the boundless void itself. 5 years passed again. Lin Yuan traversed the entire boundless void. Then and there, Lin Yuan casually chose a place to sit cross-legged, observation coming to an end, now pausing to reflect deeply and convert everything he had seen and felt into his own gains. At this moment, in a corner of the vast boundless void, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged, sorting through his own insights. Having naturally observed spiritual epiphanies occurring, and after 10 years of observation, all of everything converged in his chest, he quickly comprehended using his against heaven's understanding. Your understanding is against heaven. Observing the void has greatly increased your comprehension of the life and death samsara rule. Your understanding is against heaven. Observing the void has greatly increased your comprehension of the great destruction rule. Your understanding is against heaven. Observing the void has greatly increased your comprehension of the causality fluctuation rules. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 26. A century later. Please subscribe. In the boundless void, the vast majority of regions are incomparably desolate. At a certain moment, a tiny figure floated along with the ever-present tidal currents of the void. Lin Yuan slowly opened his eyes and glanced around the void, a surge of emotion welling up inside him. Wandering the void's secret realm for 5 years, drifting through the boundless void for another 5. In the end, he chose to sit in meditation, to digest and comprehend. Before he knew it, 20 years had passed. For these 20 years, Lin Yuan arbitrarily chose a spot, not using any power, just drifting with the ebb and flow of the void. 20 years of Tao comprehension. I've made significant gains in other fusion rules, but the spatio-temporal fusion rule? Still stuck in the 6th realm, not even close to the peak. Lin Yuan thought quietly to himself, not too surprised either. The space-time fusion rule's 6-fold realm was already the domain of the strongest beings. As for reaching the peak of the 6th realm, or even venturing into the 7th, 8th, or 9th realms, even with his confidence, Lin Yuan didn't think he could fathom them within the 10th layer. You have to understand, even His Majesty Xian Huang, who traverses the chaos void, has only reached the 9th realm in his comprehension of the spatio-temporal fusion rule. Nevertheless, when the 6-armed figure recounted these matters to Lin Yuan, it did so with pride. Clearly, beyond the 6th realm of the spatio-temporal fusion rule, even the strongest beings find each step excruciatingly hard. Let's set aside the spatio-temporal fusion rule for now. Lin Yuan silently resolved. The reason he could reach the 6th realm of spatio-temporal comprehension so quickly was mainly due to the insights contributed by the powerhouses of the myriad tribes within the white paper from a 2-dimensional world. Without these insights, even with Lin Yuan's against heaven's understanding, reaching the 6th realm would have taken 10 or even dozens of times longer. Though the myriad tribes' powerhouses' insights into spatio-temporal laws had not touched upon the 6th realm, the numerous insights from the 3rd, 4th, and 5th realms provided Lin Yuan with an extremely solid foundation, and only with the help of the secret skill, Milky Way, could he step into the 6th realm within a mere few hundred years. The comprehension of spatio-temporal fusion rule is sufficient for now. Even if I reach the 11th tier, it's unlikely to hit the 7th realm. Without reaching the 7th realm, the gap between the 6th realm and its peak isn't that significant. Lin Yuan thought, "What I need to consider now is how to comprehend the chaos rule." The chaos rule is the origin of all rules, encompassing even the spatio-temporal fusion rule. Before attempting the ultimate breakthrough, if one can comprehend the chaos rule, it would greatly increase the odds of advancing to the 12th tier. However, even if these ultimate weapons are not very suitable for him, their inherently high-quality nature can still significantly enhance his combat capability. This iron staff. Lin Yuan looked at a pitch-black iron staff. This iron staff was the first offensive weapon Lin Yuan obtained in the two-dimensional world. Even when confined within the two-dimensional world and subject to dimensional suppression, the staff's revealed aura was extremely powerful, filled with an overwhelming sense of weight. Once freed from the two-dimensional world and arriving in the main universe, the staff's innate power began to partially recover. Picking up this iron staff, the energy Lin Yuan would expend could probably lift tens of thousands of stars. Let's see if it feels right. With a thought, Lin Yuan moved to the high skies of the Xianhuang's secret realm. In the two-dimensional world, Lin Yuan used the pitch-black iron staff numerous times, but that staff in the two-dimensional world was completely different from the current one. With the restoration of 12-stage power, the staff in Lin Yuan's hands felt like it could crush the stars themselves. Whoosh! Lin Yuan held the pitch-black iron staff and casually swung it forward. A terrifying dark shadow emerged, and a black spatial crack tens of thousands of miles long was fiercely torn through the void of the Xianhuang's secret realm. Before an initial refining of an ultimate weapon, if one has a high enough understanding of the spatio-temporal fusion rule, it is possible to unleash some power of the ultimate weapon in advance. However, compared to after preliminary refining, the power would be much lower and the energy expenditure even greater. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 29. Refining the ultimate weapon. Please subscribe. _3. However, for Lin Yuan, this was naturally not a big deal. He didn't fully activate the might of this supreme weapon, just trying it out to see if it felt right in his hands. Rustle, rustle. One after another, black spatial rifts appeared. Everywhere they touched, everything was annihilated. In the distance, a six-armed figure looked on with curiosity, not knowing what Lin Yuan was up to. As the spirit of the Xianhuang's secret realm, the six-armed figure had an inkling that something was amiss with Lin Yuan's arrival, but couldn't pinpoint exactly what. Until Lin Yuan, holding a pitch-black iron staff, casually swung it, tearing a black rift tens of thousands of miles long. This particular black rift set the six-armed figure's heart trembling and mind fogging. Compared to the main universe, the space within the Xianhuang's secret realm was much more stable. To tier space within the Xianhuang's secret realm, one would at least need the strength of the 9th stage peak. But even at the 9th stage peak, the number of spatial layers torn in an instant would only be up to several hundreds of thousands at most. Even those special 9th stage beings from the Myriad heavy realm, at their full strength, wouldn't exceed this number when tearing through the spatial layers. Level 10 and level 11 powerhouses were almost the same. If they were in the Xianhuang's secret realm, the number of spatial layers they could tear in an instant wouldn't exceed 10 million. However, the spat of that iron staff from Lin Yuan had caused black spatial rifts to form. Normally, spatial rifts would mostly appear gray-hued. Black rifts indicated that one was close to tearing through all the spatial layers. In other words, Lin Yuan's strike was so powerful that it could very well have pierced through the Xianhuang's secret realm. How could this six-armed figure not tremble at heart? The Xianhuang's secret realm was opened by Emperor Xianhuang himself. Even if the internal defenses were not as robust as the external, piercing through the realm was no easy feat. At least the level 11 perfect legendary beings are far from capable of it, even with the supreme weapon in hand. It's very difficult to tear the spatial layers to this extent instantaneously. Just Lin Yuan? The six-armed figure watched Lin Yuan nonchalantly tear through rifts tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of miles long, and its heart violently trembled. Master, How could he demonstrate such a level of power with a supreme weapon? The six-armed figure could hardly believe it. He also saw that Lin Yuan's ability to open the black spatial rifts originated from that iron staff supreme weapon in his hand. But to activate a supreme weapon, one needed sufficient understanding of space-time, especially since Lin Yuan had yet to refine those supreme weapons. Even if he could activate them, the power he could demonstrate would be extremely limited. But Lin Yuan? How did he manage to do it? The six-armed figure actually had a guess in his heart, which was that Lin Yuan's comprehension of space-time was very high, perhaps reaching the 12th level. But this young master of the Xianhuang secret realm was only at the 10th level. High above the Xianhuang secret realm, Lin Yuan casually swung the pitch-black iron staff, feeling the power it exerted. With my current strength, at full power, plus initial refinement of this supreme weapon, I can create an eternal spatial rift within the Xianhuang secret realm. Lin Yuan thought to himself. The condition for creating an eternal spatial rift was to tear through all spatial layers. Currently, with a supreme weapon in Lin Yuan's hand, even without initial refinement, he could release a strength of over 1,000 battles. The number of spatial layers in the Xianhuang secret realm was far fewer than in the main universe, hence he could hope to tear it open completely. Of course, Lin Yuan could only achieve this feat within the Xianhuang secret realm. In the main universe, to create an eternal spatial rift would require a strength capable of million battle might. That was the threshold strength of the 12th level. Only with such strength could one tear through all the spatial layers of the main universe. This iron staff, it still doesn't suit me. After trying for a while, Lin Yuan gave up the idea of refining the iron staff. The power of the staff was indeed great, but it was different from Lin Yuan's fighting style. Moreover, in the two-dimensional world, in front of the powerhouses of the Myriad clans, Lin Yuan had used this supreme weapon several times. If he now chose to refine this pitch-black iron staff, as soon as he used it in the outside world, it would surely be recognized by the powerhouses of the Starry Sky races. The conclusion would then be drawn. That human evolver named Xueyu from the two-dimensional world was Lin Yuan. Supreme weapons are not unique, but there are only so many in number, and there are few choices for staff-shaped supreme weapons. Next, Lin Yuan continued to try out the other 31 supreme weapons. Ultimately, for offensive supreme weapons, he chose a silver-white battle saber. This silver-white battle saber embodied a complete space Great Tao, which is space Great Tao, not space rules. With one slash, its sharpness reached an extreme. As for defense, regarding physical defense, Lin Yuan chose a golden armor, one of the finest physical defensive weapons among the 32 supreme weapons. And for soul defense, Lin Yuan's choices were very limited, because among the 32 supreme weapons, there was only one that was a supreme weapon for soul defense. It was a deep cyan bead. 3 supreme weapons, 1 offensive and 2 defensive. Fully armed to the teeth, other level 11 perfect legendary beings would find it extremely difficult to obtain 1 supreme weapon bestowed by their tribes, yet Lin Yuan was equipped with 3 at once. What a pity, with my understanding of space-time. Even if I could refine the supreme weapons quickly, the energy needed to activate them dictates that I can hold at most 3. Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. If possible, he naturally wanted to refine all the supreme weapons. But it was unrealistic. Not being a supreme being, the burden of activating supreme weapons was great. Even if Lin Yuan stepped into the 11th level, it was not possible to activate too many supreme weapons at once. This will be the 3. Time to start refining them. Lin Yuan once again appeared at the deepest part of the Xianhuang secret realm, picked up the silver-white battle saber, and his will began to penetrate as he quickly started the refining process. Refining a supreme weapon was no simple matter. Normally, for level 11 perfect beings to initially refine a supreme weapon, it would take thousands to tens of thousands of years. Lin Yuan, however, was much faster, able to refine one in just a few years at most. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 30, The Incredible Strongest Beings. Please subscribe. Refining the strongest weapon is naturally a task for the Taiyang divine spirit. Lin Yuan's true self shares with the two major primordial spirits' wills. No matter which one refines it, the other two can enjoy the benefits. Essentially, the true self and the primordial spirit belong to the same person. Milky Way main star. Lin Yuan sits cross-legged. In a few more months, I can step into the 11th layer. Lin Yuan thought to himself. Now he has reached the extreme in almost every aspect. The only choice left is to step into the 11th layer. In fact, with Lin Yuan's current accumulation, let alone at the 10th layer, even within the 11th layer, it is unprecedented. To this day in this universe, no 11th layer being has ever comprehended the 6th realm of space-time. But now, maybe I could try becoming a ranked disciple of the Magic Jade Tower? Lin Yuan's heart stirred. The disciples, or rather, the members of the Magic Jade Tower, are divided into 4 types. Ordinary disciple/member. Core disciple/member. Ranked disciple/member. Direct disciple/member. According to Lin Yuan's current choice to join Magic Jade Tower, the first condition to become a ranked disciple is to thoroughly comprehend all the demonic evolutionary paths within that strongest body. The second condition is to be a being below the 12th layer. To become an ordinary disciple of the Magic Jade Tower, one needs to comprehend 3,333 demonic evolutionary paths. To become a core disciple of the Magic Jade Tower, one needs to comprehend 33,333 demonic evolutionary paths. And to become a ranked disciple, one must comprehend all the demonic evolutionary paths. That is the condition for Lin Yuan to become a ranked disciple. The ranked disciples of the Magic Jade Tower are already considered the elite foundation of the Magic Jade Tower. According to the suggestion of Statue Xinji, if Lin Yuan could become a ranked disciple, he would be authorized to take over that demon jade space. But becoming a ranked disciple is too difficult. Even Xinji, who has witnessed many miracles, doesn't believe Lin Yuan has a chance. Comprehending all the demonic evolutionary paths? And restricted to beings below the 12th layer? Beings below the 12th layer wanting to comprehend the demonic evolutionary paths from within the body of the strongest being? Even though this strongest being has fallen, it's almost impossible to achieve. When Magic Jade Tower was at its peak, most beings that became ranked disciples chose to cultivate a particular demonic evolutionary path and perfect it. As for the few that comprehended the demonic evolutionary paths wholly, they also relied on the heritage keystones in Magic Jade Tower that specifically carried the demonic evolutionary paths for enlightenment. Directly comprehending the demonic evolutionary paths from the body of the strongest being? Nearly impossible. The interference from the body of the strongest being itself is too great, and the omnipresent will pressure greatly increases the difficulty of comprehending the demonic evolutionary paths. But now Lin Yuan is considering giving it a try. Primarily because the rewards of becoming a ranked disciple of Magic Jade Tower are quite tempting to Lin Yuan. And taking over the demon jade space would allow Lin Yuan to enjoy the benefits of being a ranked disciple to the greatest extent. The last is the confidence Lin Yuan gained from the 10th traverse to comprehend all the demonic evolutionary paths. Virtual world. Space for contemplating the demonic evolutionary paths. The phantom of that strongest body still floats above the sky. Countless evolvers from human civilization have come and gone and come. Up until now, among the many evolvers of human civilization who have cultivated and supplemented demonic evolutionary paths to become ordinary members of Magic Jade Tower, there is only an evolver named Yuan Qing. The more one cultivates, the more one can feel the unfathomable depth of the strongest being's level. Lin Yuan sits cross-legged on the mountain peak, looking up at that body. Even though Lin Yuan has already reached the 12th layer in certain aspects, there is still a vast gap compared to a true strongest being. Not to mention anything else, but the universe inside the strongest being, which spans tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of light years. How vast must the flesh and soul birthed in such a colossal internal universe be? Lin Yuan's internal world has already broken the restrictions and shackles of the main universe, yet it only spans 200 to 300 million miles in radius. Compared to the internal universe of the strongest being measured in light years, it's not on the same level at all. Let's start by comprehending the demonic evolutionary paths. Lin Yuan's thoughts converged, and he carefully observed the body above the sky. Before performing the 10th traverse, the greatest obstacle Lin Yuan faced in contemplating this body was the omnipresent mental will pressure originating from within the body. This mental will pressure constantly interfered with Lin Yuan's contemplation of the demonic evolutionary paths. Most crucially, compared to when the mental will index was below 100,000, this mental will pressure could still polish one's own mental will. Once the mental will index surpasses 100,000, the polishing effect of this mental will pressure is almost non-existent. Having lost the use of polishing the mental will and constantly disturbed by the mental will pressure, even Lin Yuan, with his against heaven's understanding, doesn't see a hope of comprehending all the demonic evolutionary paths in a short time. The mental will pressure originates from the strongest beings, and all life forms beneath the strongest beings experience disturbances. The more evolution pathways of demons one comprehends, the greater the disturbance received. But now, the reason Lin Yuan has the confidence to fully comprehend all demonic evolution pathways is that he is confident in resisting this mental will pressure interference. The 10th traversal brought Lin Yuan the greatest help, which was not achieving the 6th realm of space and time, but raising his mental will index to 33,334,000. Achieving the 6th realm of space and time would have been possible for Lin Yuan even outside the boundless void, but such an immense increase in mental will? Lin Yuan had never anticipated that before traversing. A mental will index of 30 to 40 million not only reaches the level of the strongest, but also isn't low among them. Facing the mental will pressure emanating from the bodies of strongest beings of the same level, it is not to say he can completely ignore it, but resisting it wouldn't take much effort. As long as the interference from this mental will pressure is lost, with Lin Yuan's against heaven's understanding, fully comprehending all demonic evolution pathways is just a matter of time. Your against heaven's understanding observed the mysterious body, comprehending 10 kinds of demonic evolution pathways. Your against heaven's understanding observed the mysterious body, comprehending 50 kinds of demonic evolution pathways. Your against heaven's understanding observed the mysterious body, comprehending 200 kinds of demonic evolution pathways. As Lin Yuan predicted, during this comprehension of the body, the mental will pressure that previously caused him great disturbance now feels like a spring breeze, no longer affecting him at all. In just half a day, Lin Yuan had comprehended thousands of demonic evolution pathways. To fully comprehend all demonic evolution pathways, relying solely on the body projections in the virtual world might not be sufficient. At the necessary moment, I need to comprehend the body itself. While Lin Yuan was comprehending, he still had the capacity to think about reliance. The bodies that all human evolvers are comprehending are those where several strongest beings of human civilization jointly replicated part of that body's essence and then projected it into the virtual world. As for why not to comprehend the body itself, it's because the influence and contamination from the body itself are too great. Even 11th tier evolvers dare not come too close, let alone comprehend. As for evolvers below the 11th tier, if they dare to directly comprehend the body of the strongest, they would probably be burst by the immense information contained within the body of the strongest in an instant. Even if not burst, they would quickly collapse under the massive mental will pressure originating from the body of the strongest itself. But for Lin Yuan now, the aforementioned problems are no longer issues. With Lin Yuan's current mental will index, even if facing a living strongest being, he would stand fearless in terms of mental will, let alone a deceased strongest being. That segment of the strongest being's body must be kept in the human civilization treasury. Given Lin Yuan's current status in human civilization, if he wants to directly comprehend that segment of the body, he just needs to mention it to Xia Qin and other strongest beings. After all, it's just comprehending, not taking away that body segment. Lin Yuan divided a sliver of mental will to comprehend the numerous demonic evolution pathways within the body. Meanwhile, his true self still sat on the Milky Way main star, adjusting his state to perfection as much as possible. Before stepping into the 11th layer, I still need to meet a strongest being. Lin Yuan thought, remembering the terrifying disturbance caused by the chaos void origin infusion when he stepped into the 10th layer. Now stepping into the 11th layer, the disturbance would only be greater, so Lin Yuan naturally wanted to inform the strongest beings beforehand. Provoking the chaos void origin infusion couldn't be concealed. Rather than having the strongest beings notice it during his breakthrough, it's better to openly mention it now. At least it would prepare several of the strongest beings of human civilization, so they needn't worry about movements from other races. As for the strongest beings of human civilization, Lin Yuan believed he could trust them. As long as he was a human evolver, he would receive support. Buzz. Thinking this, Lin Yuan again split off a sliver of will, entering the virtual world. Xiaoyu virtual world. Xia Qin, the strongest being, sat on the throne and suddenly opened his eyes. Galaxy Master is looking for me? Xia Qin's expression grew slightly solemn. Is it about discussing advancing to the 11th tier? Since knowing that Lin Yuan had comprehended the spatio-temporal fusion rule at the 10th layer, he had no doubts about Lin Yuan advancing to the 11th tier. The pillar-level fusion rule's second realm allows entry to the 11th tier, and comprehending the spatio-temporal fusion rule also enables entry to the 11th tier. In terms of difficulty, the latter is many times harder than the former. In this era of human civilization, a genius of this caliber is born. Xia Qin felt quite emotional after agreeing to Lin Yuan's entry. The 10th layer comprehending the spatio-temporal fusion rule? Xia Qin had only heard a few pieces of information about such monstrous entities from inheritances outside the universe. As for within the universe? At least Xia Qin, the Galaxy Master, had never known of such unparalleled geniuses being born. After not much time, Xia Qin saw Lin Yuan's figure appear. Since it was within the virtual world, whether it be Xia Qin or Lin Yuan, both were condensed from a sliver of mental will. Galaxy Master. Xia Qin smiled and was about to ask Lin Yuan what was the matter. But the next moment, Xia Qin could not smile anymore. He looked at Lin Yuan somewhat incredulously, sizing him up repeatedly, almost doubting his own senses. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 31. Anticipation. Please subscribe. Why do I feel like I'm facing another ultimate being? Xia Qin, the Supreme Being, was shocked. This was the perception of the Supreme Beings, emerging only when facing existences of the same level. When Xia Qin, the Supreme Being, interacted with 8 other Supreme Beings, this perception emerged. It also came forth when negotiating with other ultimate alien races. But now, Lin Yuan, a young lad who has just entered the 10th rank, could it actually give Xia Qin, the Supreme Being, a similar feeling? If it weren't for Xia Qin, the Supreme Being, experiencing this himself, he wouldn't believe it at all. It's ridiculous. What's the reason? Spiritual will? Galaxy Master's spiritual will surpasses the threshold of 18 million mind will index points. No, it's not just surpassing. It is far beyond. Xia Qin, the Supreme Being's mind operated incredibly fast, immediately speculating the most likely reason. Firstly, this is the virtual world, whether it be Lin Yuan or Xia Qin, the Supreme Being. It is all a manifestation of a trace of spiritual will. Secondly, this place is the personal world of Xia Qin, the Supreme Being. Without permission, even other Supreme Beings can't use any power here. That is to say, the feeling Lin Yuan gives to Xia Qin, the Supreme Being, originates entirely from the intensity of spiritual will. Only when one spiritual will steps into the level of Supreme Beings can it give Xia Qin, the Supreme Being, such a feeling. But Lin Yuan? Spiritual will strength of a Supreme Being? Xia Qin, the Supreme Being, suddenly didn't know how to describe it. A 10th rank life form? Possessing the spiritual will's strength of a supreme being? Can that still be called a 10th rank life form? Xia Qin, the supreme being, fell silent. Supreme being? Lin Yuan also noticed Xia Qin, the supreme being's repeated scrutinizing gaze. Under normal circumstances, when he came to visit Xia Qin, the supreme being, the latter would have already started asking what the matter was. It seems he has felt my spiritual will strength, Lin Yuan thought to himself. It was inevitable given that Lin Yuan's spiritual will had reached the 12th rank, but ultimately, he was still at the 10th rank and could not perfectly conceal it in front of a supreme being. Even if he hadn't come to visit Xia Qin, the supreme being, before the breakthrough to the 11th rank, the supreme being incarnation would discover it when it descended. Your spiritual will, has it surpassed 20 million index points? After a moment of silence, Xia Qin, the supreme being, began to ask directly. Spiritual will indexes, once they exceed 10 million points, become very difficult to quantify specifically. Xia Qin, the supreme being, only felt that Lin Yuan's spiritual will index had definitely reached the 12th rank level, and it wasn't just at the basic entry level. About. Lin Yuan nodded. In fact, his spiritual will index had reached 33,340,000 points, but that too falls under the category of surpassing 20 million. Having received confirmation from Lin Yuan, Xia Qin, the supreme being didn't know how to respond. A monstrosity. Absolutely monstrous. Merely at the 10th rank, yet in the domain of spiritual will, stepping into the 12th rank, can a human evolver really achieve this? Compared to other talents and aptitudes, spiritual will is the least susceptible to shortcuts. The unique special lives in the universe, with their exceedingly noble bloodlines, what about spiritual will? It still requires starting from scratch. A powerful physical soul, the spiritual will it cultivates will indeed be stronger, but certainly not with as much advantage as in the physical soul domain. I had a seclusion some time ago where I gained some insights in spiritual will. Lin Yuan offered the reason he had prepared. The enhancement of spiritual will, aside from its gradual increase through extended age, can also be boosted in a short time through epiphanies. Here, epiphanies are the sudden insights into the operations of the universe and all things within it. However, such events are rare and, since the creation of the universe, have not occurred frequently, and even when they do, it is usually among life forms of lower ranks. For example, a 4th rank or 5th rank life form occasionally has an epiphany, and their spiritual will index jumps from a few hundred to a few thousand. Certain native lives on barbaric wilderness planets, without undergoing any evolutionary cultivation, have a spiritual will index nearing 10,000. But for someone like Lin Yuan after an epiphany, to have the spiritual will index directly surpass 20 million points probably has never happened before. Epiphany. Xia Qin, the supreme being, once again fell silent, vaguely guessing that the significant rise in Lin Yuan's spiritual will was probably not as simple as an epiphany, because the increase was too substantial. Nevertheless, that was Lin Yuan's own secret, and Xia Qin, the supreme being, would not interfere. Since Lin Yuan stepped into the 10th rank, causing the chaos void origin infusion, and thereafter tearing open a cosmic rift measured by light years, Xia Qin, the supreme being, knew Lin Yuan had his own remarkable encounters. Regarding these, Xia Qin, the supreme being wouldn't even ask. Spiritual will, the stronger, the better. After much thought, Xia Qin, the supreme being, slowly began. The higher the rank of the evolver, the more they could feel the importance of spiritual will. Evolutionaries from the 1st rank to the 5th and 6th rank probably don't even know about spiritual will. But starting from the 7th rank, especially when breaking through to the 8th rank, one of the prerequisites is that the spiritual will index reaches 10,000 points. Only then can one confidently surpass the heart demon tribulation. From the 8th rank onwards, the influence of spiritual will grows continuously. By the 11th rank, when striking for the ultimate, it necessitates a spiritual will index of 10 million points. In fact, the importance of spiritual will goes far beyond this. Whether it be human civilization's 11th rank evolvers or other alien races' 11th rank powerhouses, their physical souls will no longer decay. But why do they still seek to extend their lifespan by slowing down the flow of time? All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 31. Anticipation. Please subscribe. _2. Theoretically, the physical and spiritual existence of a level 11 life should have no limitations on lifespan. However, in reality, the longer one lives, even if there are no problems with the physical and soul aspects, mental and spiritual can still become distorted. Once the spiritual will becomes distorted and insane, true death is not far away. At this moment, the importance of a strong spiritual will is manifested. The stronger the spiritual will, the more it can counteract this distortion and insanity. Currently, with Lin Yuan's strength of spiritual will, he could easily live through an entire cosmic era, even if it were not for the destruction of the universe and the collapse and depletion of the river of time, which ensures the death of all lives within the river. Lin Yuan would be able to live through multiple cosmic eras. Additionally, a strong spiritual will has profound impacts on many aspects. Especially in terms of soul defense, a strong spiritual will in place is more helpful than any soul defensive artifact. Supreme Being, I have come this time to prepare for my breakthrough to level 11. Lin Yuan mentioned the main issue, which was also one of the reasons he came to meet Xiaqin's Supreme Being. Breakthrough to level 11? Xiaqin's Supreme Being immediately grasped the situation. He had long guessed that Lin Yuan was here for this purpose. However, just at the beginning of their meeting, he was so shocked by Lin Yuan's terrifying spiritual will that he has not yet recovered. When are you planning to make the breakthrough? Xiaqin's Supreme Being asked seriously. In a few months, Lin Yuan answered. For a breakthrough, one must choose the best state of condition. With Lin Yuan's current rate of adjustment, a few months should suffice. No problem, Xiaqin's Supreme Being nodded. At that time, I will call them to be your protectors. Xiaqin's Supreme Being's expression turned slightly solemn. Them naturally refers to the other 9 Supreme Beings of human civilization. After all, moving from a core member to a listed member is not like storming through levels, where the more potential demonstrated, the richer the reward. One just needs to meet the predetermined conditions. But now, this goal seems to have been accomplished prior to the breakthrough to level 11. The 13th most important location of human civilization. Inside a grand hall at its depth, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. In the depths of his soul memory, various demonic evolution pathways seemed to reach a certain qualitative change, beginning to converge into that Demon Jade Tower core member mark. Buzzing sounds emanated. The magic jade mark was rapidly transforming. So, the number of all demonic evolution pathways is 33,333,333? At this moment, Lin Yuan finally knew the specific quantity of demonic evolution pathways contained within his body. When he first observed that body in the virtual world, Lin Yuan only felt that the evolutionary paths contained within its flesh were as vast as a sea of smoke. But now, this vast sea of smoke finally had a definite upper limit. With a mental will capable of easily resisting the spiritual pressure within the body, Lin Yuan's understanding of demonic evolution pathways was as fast as 1,000 li per day would not be an overstatement. In just a few months, he had far surpassed the results of hundreds of years of contemplation. The demonic jade immortal body. I have also successfully comprehended the first tier chapter and second layer chapter. As for the 12-tier chapter, Lin Yuan shook his head slightly. After all, this body was ultimately incomplete, and since the demonic jade immortal body had already been deciphered, the traces left by the 12-tier chapter were completely just scraps. With Lin Yuan's against heaven's understanding, even scraps could allow him to comprehend the whole picture. However, level 12 was ultimately too far beyond Lin Yuan's current realm, and even if he could comprehend the demonic jade immortal body of level 12, it would take a lot of time. The first tier chapter and second layer chapter are enough for me. Lin Yuan thought to himself, currently unaware of when he will attempt the breakthrough. The demonic jade immortal body of the second layer chapter is already sufficient for a long time to come. The demonic jade immortal body of the first tier level still brings a significant enhancement to my physical body. Lin Yuan, in the moment of comprehending the demonic jade immortal body up to the 10th layer chapter and 11th layer chapter, is equivalent to having cultivated it to perfection, save for the fact that his physical strengthening has yet to catch up. In truth, after Lin Yuan cultivated the Xianhuang physique to the 10th layer perfect level, nearly all other body refining methods held little benefit for him. After all, the Xianhuang physique could already be termed perfect at the 10th layer level. The areas that could be tempered and elevated had been virtually all tempered and elevated. Other body refining methods simply couldn't perform better, and even if they were cultivated to the realm of perfection, they would be overshadowed by the Xianhuang physique, with a negligible effect on the enhancement of the physical body. But what about the demonic jade immortal body? This method of body refinement was entirely distinct from the Xianhuang physique if it could also reach the level of perfection. Lin Yuan believed his physical body would be able to advance even further. As Lin Yuan contemplated, deep within his soul, that magic jade mark finally completed its transformation. At the same time, a deep and hoarse male voice echoed in Lin Yuan's mind. Upon fully comprehending all demonic evolutionary pathways, automatically become a Demon Jade Tower member. Demon and Tower sequence member? A smile emerged on Lin Yuan's face. Hadn't he sent an incarnation here specifically to comprehend, just for this moment? This magic jade mark. Lin Yuan immediately sensed the changes in the magic jade mark. It became more profound, more mysterious. I vaguely feel through this magic jade mark the specific spatial coordinates of that demon jade space. Lin Yuan thought to himself. As an ordinary member and core member of the Magic Jade Tower, Lin Yuan could only descend into the Demon Jade space using the Magic Jade mark. As for more, he was not sure. But now? He could sense the specific coordinates of the Demon Jade space. It was known that the Demon Jade space, opened by the Muyu Tower Master, could only be entered by members of the Demon Jade Tower. The outside world has no knowledge of its location. Even the members of the Demon Jade Tower are unclear about the position of the Demon Jade space. Is this the privilege of being a sequence member? Lin Yuan had an idea in his mind. If the core members of the Magic Jade Tower are the elite, then the sequence members are the pillars, the foundation. Above the sequence members lies the direct disciples of the Muyu Tower Master, those who are cultivated as future Tower Masters and Supreme Beings. The privileges of Demon Jade Tower members are substantial. They can even take over some of the rights to the Demon Jade space. That place too distant. Lin Yuan followed the connection of the Magic Jade mark and vaguely looked in a certain direction. Even though he had already learned from the statue Shinji that the Demon Jade space was not located within any universe, the moment Lin Yuan truly felt the precise location of the Demon Jade space, his heart still surged with shock. It was like an ordinary person who has never left his village looking up at the stars above the firmament, estimating the distance of the stars from himself. Milky Way main star. Lin Yuan observed the magic jade mark deep within his soul for a while before stopping. The mark of a Demon Jade Tower member is many times more complex than that of a core member, but what exactly are the differences? With Lin Yuan's current level, it was hard to tell. Take another trip to the Demon Jade space. Lin Yuan pondered for a moment and then split off a sliver of will, following the connection of the magic jade mark, instantaneously crossing infinite distances, descending into a certain mysterious space. Demon Jade space. As this sliver of Lin Yuan's will descended, the entire Demon Jade space seemed to detect something, trembling slightly. The surrounding gray fog suddenly dispersed, much like the weather clearing up after being gloomy for a long time. Lin Yuan glanced around and directly headed for the location of the 9-story Black Tower. Outside the 9-story Black Tower, the statue Shinji, immersed in sleep, was abruptly awakened by the tremor in the demon jade space. What is this? Statue Shinji could hardly believe it, and then his eyes moistened. My magic jade tower has finally birthed another sequence member? All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 34 Breakthrough. Please subscribe. Outskirts of the 9-story Black Tower. Lin Yuan strode forward. Following the transformation of the magic jade mark, in addition to being able to sense the exact coordinates of this demon jade space, Lin Yuan also obtained partial authority over this demon jade space. For instance, if he wished, he could easily appear at any location. However, in the past when he entered the demon jade space, he always did so by walking to the front of the 9-story Black Tower. Lin Yuan was accustomed to this, so he also chose to walk over this time. Have you become a demon jade tower member? Statue Shinji had been waiting for a long time and looked at Lin Yuan with a complex gaze. Even he had not considered the possibility of Lin Yuan becoming a tower member. This was mainly because the Magic Jade Tower's headquarters had collapsed, and the foundation carrying all the demonic evolutionary pathways had been destroyed. Under these circumstances, the only way to fully comprehend all demonic evolutionary pathways would be to deduce them from the bodies of 12-tiered Magic Jade Tower members. But this was extremely difficult. Comprehend all demonic evolutionary pathways from the bodies of 12-tiered strong ones? For those alive at the 12th tier, it was still manageable as they could contain their oppressive aura, but the remnants of the fallen at the 12th tier would still unleash the intangible pressure of their spirit and will. This kind of spirit and will pressure, to those of the 12th tier's same level, might not be anything significant, but to life forms below the 12th tier, it was utterly impossible to withstand. Incapable of withstanding such pressure, let alone to thoroughly comprehend all the demonic evolutionary pathways. So, even though Statue Shinji was aware of Lin Yuan's extraordinary talent, he never entertained the thought that the latter could become a tower member. This was mainly because this path had been essentially severed with the disappearance of the Moyu Tower Master. Lucky, I guess, Lin Yuan said with a smile. Lucky. Statue Shinji was speechless. Even during the Magic Jade Tower's most prosperous times, tower members were exceedingly rare. There would be no more than 100 members from the same era. Every Demon Jade Tower member possessed the potential to become 12-tiered. How could this be merely chalked up to luck? Direct disciples taken on by the demonic Jade Tower Master were being groomed to become the Supreme Strong, and likewise, tower members also held the potential to achieve that supreme status. Not to mention Lin Yuan's means of becoming a Demon Jade Tower member, which was countless times more difficult than those before him, even more challenging than becoming a direct disciple of the Moyu Tower Master. You were born in the wrong era, Statue Shinji said with a sigh after a long time. If he were in the era when the Magic Jade Tower was at its peak, even if not at its peak, as long as a 12th-tiered strong one was present to uphold the tower, Lin Yuan would have received the tower's full support in his cultivation. But now, even though he had forcibly become a Demon Jade Tower member, what Lin Yuan received was far less than before, and he was even devoid of the various benefits that came with being a tower member. I think it's quite all right. Lin Yuan shook his head. He had already reaped many benefits from this Demon Jade space, and being in the Magic Jade Tower's heyday might not necessarily have been a good thing. Let's talk about serious matters. Statue Shinji waved his right hand, and a phantom screen appeared in front of Lin Yuan. It was the reward for becoming a tower member. Previously, when Lin Yuan became a core member of the Magic Jade Tower, he obtained the right to choose from various secret techniques. Now that he was a tower member, the rewards were even more numerous and of greater value. I'll pick later. Lin Yuan glanced over it and spoke. He was on the verge of entering the 11th tier, and the rewards on the screen weren't of much immediate help to him at the moment. It was better to save them until after he reached the 11th tier and choose based on his needs then. Currently, Lin Yuan was not sure of the extent of the transformation he would undergo after stepping into the 11th tier, so he decided it was best to wait and see. No problem.
Statue Shen nodded.
Now that Lin Yuan was a tower member, his authority over this demon jade space was only slightly less than Shinji's. Members falling into this space also have authority, right? Lin Yuan asked after carefully sensing for a while. Yes, Statue Shinji said. You can specify the identity, racial bloodline, and so on for ordinary members descending into this space. The hierarchy of the Magic Jade Tower was strict. To the elevated tower members, the future of ordinary members was but a word away. Then I specify that only beings from my human civilization can descend into this demon jade space from now on, Lin Yuan immediately said. So far, no alien strong ones had become ordinary members of the Magic Jade Tower and thus descended into the demon jade space. But one could never be too cautious, as those alien strong ones were also contemplating the demonic evolutionary pathways in their bodies. Looking at the long-term perspective, it was possible for them to become ordinary members of the Magic Jade Tower. Thus, Lin Yuan simply cut off this possibility. If they couldn't enter this demon jade space, those alien strong ones, even if they became ordinary members of the Magic Jade Tower, would gain no benefits. It would be a fruitless effort. Done. Statue Shinji closed his eyes and opened them again shortly. For him, filtering the identity of ordinary members descending into this demon jade space was all too simple. Next, I want to try tackling the 7th level. Lin Yuan looked up at the 9-story black tower in front of him and slowly said. The 7th level of the black tower was something only a 12th-tiered strong one could hope to overcome. Before the 10th traversal, Lin Yuan wouldn't even dare to think about it. Grasping the spatio-temporal fusion rule at the 2nd realm? Just getting past the 6th level was tough, let alone the 7th? But now Lin Yuan had comprehended the spatio-temporal fusion rule at the 6th realm, firmly standing at the domain of the 12th tier. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 34. Breakthrough. Please subscribe. _2. In addition, his mental will strength has also entered the 12th level. Having reached the 12th level in both aspects, Lin Yuan believed he could attempt the 7th layer. The 7th layer? The humanoid statue Shinji fell silent again, then stepped aside and watched Lin Yuan enter the 9-layered black tower. Less than half an hour later, Lin Yuan withdrew from the 7th layer. It's still not feasible. Lin Yuan's eyebrows were tightly furrowed. To pass through the 7th layer of the black tower, if one is a 12th-level powerhouse, a peak understanding of the space-time fusion rule 6-fold realm is required. If not at the 12th level, at least reaching the 7th realm in the space-time fusion rule domain is necessary to have a chance. After all, although Lin Yuan's time-space comprehension and mental will reached the 12th level, he ultimately was not a 12th-level powerhouse. The requirements to pass through the 7th layer would definitely be higher than for a normal 12th-level powerhouse. Completed 2/3 of the journey? The nearby statue Shinji remained silent. Although Lin Yuan ultimately did not pass the 7th layer, he had completed 2/3 of it, which was an inconceivable feat. A mere 10th-level being completed 2/3 of the journey through the 7th layer, only achievable by a supreme being? What kind of freak is he? Thinking of Lin Yuan becoming a member of the Demon Jade Tower on the 10th level, statue Shinji barely managed to calm his spirit. Mental will and space-time fusion rule comprehension both completely entered the 12th level, especially the strength of mental will. Statue Shinji reminisced about Lin Yuan's attempts at the 7th layer, feeling waves of emotions rising in his heart again. Thus far, the talent and aptitude displayed by Lin Yuan, even in his youth, far surpassed that of the demonic Jade Tower Master. Not just surpassed, but far surpassed. The demonic Jade Tower Master had many miraculous encounters in his youth and had reached the 12th level realm prematurely in certain aspects. But at that time, the demonic Jade Tower Master was already at the 11th level. But now Lin Yuan is only at the 10th level? Between the 10th and 11th levels, though seemingly only a step apart. It's like a chasm. What a pity. Lin Yuan took one last look at the majestic 9-layered black tower and sighed. Still a pity. Statue Shunji's lips twitched slightly. At the 10th level, he didn't pass the 7th layer and still found it a pity? Then I will take my leave. Lin Yuan bid farewell to the humanoid statue Shinji, and his figure disappeared into the demon jade space. Suddenly, in the vast demon jade space, only the solitary statue Shinji stood before the 9-layered black tower. Master, with your means, did you ever expect that the demon jade tower could now give birth to a member of its sequence? Statue Shinji murmured to himself for a while before falling back into slumber. Milky Way main star. Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. First cultivate the demonic jade immortal body to the perfect level. Lin Yuan quickly took out numerous resources. Having adjusted his condition earlier, Lin Yuan had purchased a vast amount of resources, preparing to step into the 11th level and to cultivate the Xianhuang physique. Having now obtained the demonic jade immortal body at the 10th level, he naturally planned to first cultivate this body-refining method to completion. When stepping into the 11th level, inducing the chaos void origin infusion, the stronger the physical and soul body's internal world, the more chaos void origin it can withstand, and the greater the benefits to oneself. Originally, Lin Yuan's physical body had already reached its peak. At the 10th level, no amount of resources, methods, or secret techniques could improve it even slightly. But the demonic jade immortal body still allowed his physical strength to continue improving, an opportunity Lin Yuan naturally grasped. Since demonic jade immortal body, Lin Yuan had already reached a perfect state. With sufficient resources, cultivating it to perfect level wouldn't take long. Time passed. In the blink of an eye, 6 months had passed. Finally reached the 10th level perfect. Lin Yuan felt deep within his body, his flesh like black crystal jade, with Xuanhuang-colored light flowing, terrifying blood energy shaking the multiple spatial layers. Everything is ready. Lin Yuan glanced around. The Taiyang Divine Spirit and Taiyin Primordial Spirit had also arrived early. As for the originally large battlefield, Lin Yuan had long since placed an avatar there. Before his 10th traverse, Lin Yuan's mental will was just at a normal standard, and the large battlefield of different races was full of dangers, requiring the primordial spirit to oversee to ensure the accumulation of world-breaking origin force over the long term. As for the avatar was too weak, utterly incapable of handling the pressures on a large battlefield of different races. But after the 10th traversal, Lin Yuan's mental will had significantly improved, causing his avatar's combat power to also be maintained at the level 11 tier. Even though it's still not comparable to the 2 primordial spirits, it's more than enough to handle the dangers of a large battlefield of different races. For the most part, battles at the level 11 tier would not erupt in a large battlefield of different races. It's time to contact the Supreme Beings. Lin Yuan connected to the virtual world and spoke to Xia Qin, the Supreme Being. He then stepped forward, leaving the Milky Way main star and heading deep into a spatial layer of a location in the Galaxy Master's territory. Breaking through to level 11 would trigger the Chaos Void origin infusion. Naturally, he couldn't break through on the main star, as the impact would be too significant. Even a slight disturbance would turn the Milky Way main star to dust. While Lin Yuan was sitting in the depths of the spatial layer, making final adjustments. In the Milky Way star region, incarnations of humanity's supreme beings descended one after the other. Xia Qin, the Supreme Being. Yudi, the Supreme Being. Ancient Power, the Supreme Being. Void God, the Supreme Being. And so on. All 9 Supreme Beings, shadowy incarnations appeared. Even the true body of Xia Qin, the Supreme Being, was paying attention to this place. By using his incarnation as a beacon, the true body of Xia Qin could arrive at any time. He's finally starting the breakthrough. Xia Qin appeared slightly exhilarated, more nervous than Lin Yuan himself, having waited for months for Lin Yuan's news. I've set up space-time domains in dozens of nearby star domains. The Void God Supreme Being spoke. His mastery in the spatial aspect was profound. relating essentially to the space Great Tao. With the Void God Supreme Being's application of space, the space-time domains he set up were impenetrable even to a group of supreme beings in a short time. For this young one's breakthrough, we've all spent quite some effort. The ancient power supreme being couldn't help but speak up. In the history of human civilization, except for those at level 11 who are striving for the ultimate, they had never paid such close attention. However, given Lin Yuan's displayed talent and aptitude, it was worth it for the 9 supreme beings to do so. Whether it's perceiving the spatio-temporal fusion rule at level 10, or his mental will stepping into the realm of supreme beings. These were unprecedented in human civilization. In the eyes of the 9 supreme beings, Lin Yuan's assault on level 11 was even more critical than those level 11 evolutionaries striving for the ultimate. When he broke through to level 10, I wasn't present. Now I can see what kind of stir this young one will cause. Another human supreme being said enthusiastically. When Lin Yuan broke through to level 10, it caused a chaos void origin infusion. Although not as significant as the assault, it was still unprecedented. Those supreme beings who missed it felt quite regretful. It should be quite the spectacle. Xia Qin guessed, perhaps close to challenging the ultimate? When Lin Yuan reached level 10, he perceived the spatio-temporal fusion rule, greatly enhancing his internal world, coupled with the transformation of his physical and soul bodies. The chaos void origin handled would definitely far exceed those from level 9 breaking through to level 10. Close to the spectacle of challenging the ultimate, the remaining few human supreme beings glanced at each other. Could it be that Lin Yuan already possesses a basis for a perfect level 11? How is that possible? Let's watch. Yudi, the supreme being, spoke. Deep in the spatial layer, Lin Yuan sat cross-legged. His 2 primordial spirits had long since returned inside his body. From being historically tangible to now vague, the internal worlds of the 2 primordial spirits did not shrink to millions of miles in radius, but still maintained a size of 2.3 billion miles, with the effects of the mysterious gourd still in place. Time slowly passed, beginning the breakthrough. Lin Yuan's inner qi was perfected to his liking, while he simultaneously released the suppression on himself. Without suppression, he would have crossed into level 11 the moment he perceived some kind of pillar-level fusion rule at the 2nd layer. As Lin Yuan completely released himself, his life essence quickly leaped toward level 11. The world's void suddenly fell into silence. Then, boom! All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 35. Vast Chaos. Please subscribe. Inside the territory of the Star Alliance. On a massive planet, the real bodies of the 4 divine kings, towering 1,000,000 miles high, sat quietly. Since the curtain fell on the 2-dimensional world, white paper had escaped the cosmic starry skies. The 4 divine kings had been sitting here ever since. The Avatar's fall in the 2-dimensional world dealt a heavy blow to the 4 divine kings. It was far more than just a permanent loss of a part of their spirit will, and the loss of a supremely powerful weapon suited for them. More importantly, the mental state of the 4 divine kings was severely stimulated. As a level 11 perfect legendary powerhouse, a unique life form in the cosmic starry skies, the 4 divine kings would not dare to claim they were the strongest among level 11, but they were certainly notable. Yet, in the 2-dimensional world, being utterly crushed by the human civilization's Shuyu was unbearable for the 4 divine kings. The evolvers of human civilization were inherently feeble. 99% of them could not even step into the 1st layer, starting who knows how much lower compared to special life forms. Yet the 4 divine kings had been defeated by such a human evolver. If it was only a defeat, the 4 divine kings would not have been greatly shaken. Human civilization's evolvers might start low, but they possess a high potential. Otherwise, how could they produce 9 level 12 evolvers? But the 4 divine kings faced a crushing defeat, or rather, it couldn't even be considered a defeat. In the eyes of that human Shuyu, The four divine kings were not even considered an opponent. At that moment, a voice transmitted into the planet, resonating in this space-time. Four divine kings, the past is the past, there's no need to dwell on it. The voice of the strongest being from the Star Alliance came. Strongest being, in our universe, does there really exist such a monstrous level 11 life? The four divine kings still found it hard to comprehend. Anything is possible. The strongest being from the Star Alliance was silent for a moment and then said, that two-dimensional world, it could only completely suppress the powers below level 12. Perhaps that human Shuyu had carried some artifact that allowed him to break free from the suppression of the two-dimensional world to some extent. The strongest being from the Star Alliance slowly said. This was also the conjecture of many pinnacle race powerhouses and ultimate beings during their reassessment after white paper escaped the universe about why that human Shuiyu's strength was so exceptionally high. The capability of the human Shuiyu to make the four divine kings tremble with merely a glance was not something a normal level 11 could demonstrate. Hearing this, the four divine kings felt slightly more relieved inside. If it's just as the strongest being speculated, then perhaps their defeat wasn't too disgraceful? Four divine kings, what you need to consider now is the upcoming massive battlefield. To open this massive battlefield, both the Star Alliance and other pinnacle races have paid a significant price. The strongest being from the Star Alliance looked down upon the four divine kings. As long as we can obtain the initial dominance of that massive battlefields of different races, I can make sure that the part of your spirit will that was lost will be compensated as much as possible. Any life that perishes in the two-dimensional world inside white paper will permanently lose a part of their spirit will. This part of spirit will cannot be recovered, but it can be compensated through certain means. It's just a matter of cost. Thank you, strongest being. In the forthcoming massive battlefield, I will give it my all. The four divine kings said solemnly. That's good. The strongest being from the Star Alliance nodded slightly. After this experience, once you have compensated, your foundation will be almost sufficient. You can attempt to break through to the ultimate level 12. Attempt to break through level 12? The eyes of the four divine kings slightly glimmered. For any level 11 life, the sole target is to achieve the ultimate level 12. Only by stepping into ultimate level 12 can one break free from the confines of the river of time, hoping to live through one cosmic era after another. No need to worry about that human Shuyu. Perhaps on the path of attempting the ultimate, he might not be as good as you. The strongest being from the Star Alliance said. Yes. The four divine kings nodded, their gaze regaining confidence. You, the strongest being from the Star Alliance, was about to continue saying something. Suddenly, a mighty origin source aura swept across the entire universe. The expression of the strongest being from the Star Alliance turned grave, his gaze leisurely looking towards a certain direction. Is a life attempting the ultimate? The four divine kings also realized this origin source aura was vast and boundless. Even level 11 life could clearly feel it. Only the attempt at the ultimate could cause such an instantaneous arrival of the chaos void origin. Recently, a 10th rank evolver from human civilization comprehended the rule of time, attempted level 11, also inducing the chaos void origin infusion, but the disturbance was much smaller than now. Who is attempting the ultimate? The four divine kings looked towards the strongest being. They could only feel the vast and omnipresent chaos void origin aura, but as for the source, blocked by a gigantic spatial-temporal maze, the four divine kings couldn't be sure. Within the territory of human civilization, the strongest being from the Star Alliance was silent for a moment, with the perception of level 12, barely penetrating the spatial-temporal maze, managed to approximately locate the source of the chaos void origin near the human civilization's territory. Human civilization's territory? Is that Shuiyu attempting the ultimate? The four divine kings paused, this thought unconsciously emerging in their minds. Mighty and overwhelming, the waves of chaos void origin fluctuations swept across, in an instant attracting the attention of all level 12 beings within the cosmic starry skies. numerous level 11 powerhouses also abruptly realized. All credit goes to the original author. If you're the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. Comprehension Ability. Creating and teaching the Tao in various worlds. Chapter 35 Majestic Chaos. Subscription request. _2. Striving for the ultimate. Life is striving for the ultimate. To strive for the ultimate, one must at least grasp the fifth realm of fusion of time and space. Striving for the ultimate. I wonder if I can reach the threshold of striving for the ultimate before my lifespan ends. Since the birth of the universe, every long period of time, there have been lives attempting to strive for the ultimate, but the vast majority have failed, making many 11th level perfected evolvers quite familiar with this fluctuation. Is the source within the human civilization's territory? In the heartland of the insect race, one queen after another opens their eyes, looking towards the origin of the chaos void origin. Is human civilization likely to give birth to the 10th ultimate being? The brows of many insect queens furrow deeply. Human civilization is already strong enough. The birth of a 10th ultimate being now would likely leave the insect race struggling to breathe. Tianyu clan's territory. The ancestors all had serious expressions. Normally, 11th level perfected evolvers from human civilization, without certain assurance, would not be allowed to strive for the ultimate. After all, once failed, it means the complete loss of this 11th level perfected evolver. The death caused by failing to strive for the ultimate can't be reversed, as the life imprint would briefly shift out of the river of time. Success means completely freeing oneself from the binds of the river of time. In case of failure, all traces will be erased. Even so, there was constant debate about who was the strongest level 11.
But now,
there was probably no debate anymore. The strongest level 11 was Lin Yuan, and not just in this cosmic era. In the many cosmic eras of the past and many more in the future, the chances were slim that there would ever be a level 11 born stronger than Lin Yuan. Lin Yuan, with your strength, you could completely sweep through the upcoming grand-scale battlefields of different races, Xiaqin Supreme being thought and immediately spoke up. Grand-scale battlefields of different races? Lin Yuan's heart stirred. He had already heard about the grand-scale battlefields of different races from Xiaqin Supreme being. This was a massive battlefield that surpassed any previous ones, a place where all peak forces of the 10,000 races of the cosmic starry skies contested for domination. That's right. The eyes of the ancient power supreme being slightly lit up. The grand-scale battlefields are the arenas agreed upon by all peak forces within this universe through negotiation. After the grand-scale battlefields are established, any force that obtains the right to lead the first war will gain 1/10,000th of the territory of all participating clan forces, the Void God Ultimate being added from the side. 1/10,000th of the territory? Lin Yuan's expression became slightly solemn. The myriad clans of the cosmic starry skies fought on the many battlefields they opened, and under established rules, the victorious side would take control of the territory or some resource secret realms of the defeated side. The Milky Way star region inhabited by Lin Yuan was, in the past, a territory ruled by the Shadow Tribe. However, in the battlefield, the Shadow Tribe lost to human civilization, which is why they had to hand over that region. However, on the battlefields of the past, even the large battlefields, the territories lost through defeat didn't reach the foundation of human civilization. But what about grand-scale battlefields? Using 1/10,000th of territory as the price? How many star domains? To be precise, how many star alliances would 1/10,000th of human civilization's territory envelop? It should be noted that the size of the territory unequivocally includes more than just the number of life forms it can support. It also signifies countless resources. Many precious resource planets and numerous cosmic secret realms lie within certain territories, and once ceded, these too would be surrendered. That's right. That's why for this grand-scale battlefield of different races, those peak clan forces will spare no expense. They will even equip level 11 fifth realm life forms with ultimate weapons, Xiaqin Supreme being said. According to the rules set by the Starry Sky races for opening grand-scale battlefields, beings of the 12th layer are forbidden from intervening. With 12th layer beings not entering the fray, the strongest combatants were naturally level 11. To increase their side's odds, outfitting perfect level 11 life forms with ultimate weapons is the foundation, and level 11 fifth realm life forms will be granted ultimate weapons. To initially refine ultimate weapons, one needs at least the comprehension of the fifth realm of space and time, which means level 11 fifth realm. But normally level 11 fifth realm beings being granted ultimate weapons were very few and far between. No problem. Lin Yuan nodded. From becoming an evolver to now, he's been under the protection of human civilization. Lin Yuan now also planned to give back to human civilization. In fact, it wouldn't be purely giving back, as Lin Yuan wasn't obliged to go to the grand-scale battlefield. According to the 9 supreme beings, every level 11 who goes to the grand-scale battlefield would receive a large number of merit points as a reward from human civilization. The merits established on the grand-scale battlefield could also be exchanged for a large number of merit points, and all the obtained spoils of war would belong to oneself. With Lin Yuan's strength now surpassing level 11, even without an invitation from the supreme beings, he would plan to take a stroll on the grand-scale battlefield. After all, to secure the right to lead the first battle on the grand-scale battlefield, those peak clan level 11 life forms will likely arm themselves to the teeth. And for Lin Yuan, that's all moving riches and treasures. Heading to the grand-scale battlefield of different races basically carried no risk for Lin Yuan. Anyway, going there with just his primordial spirit, even if it were to fall, Lin Yuan could quickly recondense it. After stepping into the 11th level, even if a supreme being were to strike at Lin Yuan, at most they could only destroy his primordial spirit and not truly affect his actual body. With over 33 million points in mental willpower strength, it's enough for Lin Yuan to easily defend against any memory contamination at the 12th level tier. As for causal curse killing, with Lin Yuan's current level of life, even 12th level beings would have to pay a huge price and still be unable to curse kill him. Moreover, there's the isolation of causality in the Xianhuang's secret realm. Simply put, the current Lin Yuan may indeed be unable to defeat those on the 12th level, but for them to completely kill him, it is also very difficult to achieve. Or rather, it is impossible. By the way, are you planning to make public your breakthrough to the 11th level? The supreme being Xia Qin thought for a moment and asked. Up to now, the entry criteria for major battlefields have been the peak strength of the 11th level powerhouses. As for those below the 11th level, to those in possession of the ultimate weapons at level 11 perfect, the 10th level warriors don't mean much. Unless there is the Sea of Insects tactics, brought about by the insect race hives that have nurtured billions upon billions of insect race warriors, otherwise it basically has no effect. So, the threshold to enter the large-scale battlefields of different races is the 11th level. If Lin Yuan intends to enter the large-scale battlefields of different races, he must reveal the power of the 11th level. Make it public, Lin Yuan said calmly. Previously, when he made the breakthrough from the 5th to the 6th realm, in order to prevent being assassinated by different races, Lin Yuan needed to keep his identity secret. But now, there is no need for secrecy anymore, because Lin Yuan has grown to such a height that those supreme beings from different races can no longer slay him. And entering the large-scale battlefields of different races, with 11 as the threshold, announcing his step into the 11th level is also to prepare for the large-scale battlefields of different races. Actually, even if it's made public, it doesn't matter much. The Feather Butterfly Supreme Being said, given the potential shown by the Galaxy Master in the past, stepping into the 11th level now, although slightly quick, is completely understandable. From level 7 to level 8, from 8 to 9, from 9 to 10, hasn't the Galaxy Master surprised everyone every time? After chatting with the 9 supreme beings for a few more words, Lin Yuan smoothly returned to the Milky Way main star. My physical body, the realm of the Xianhuang physique, has fallen to minor accomplishment. Lin Yuan felt it for a moment and thought silently to himself. To say that the realm of the Xianhuang physique has fallen is not accurate. More precisely, the upper limit of the Xianhuang physique has been raised. A level 10 perfect Xianhuang physique and one at level 11 perfect are completely different concepts. Lin Yuan, having stepped into the 11th level, entered the 11th chapter of the Xianhuang physique cultivation. The previous level 10 chapter's Xianhuang physique has not weakened in strength, but Lin Yuan has gained a greater space for improvement in this body-refining secret technique to cultivate the Xianhuang physique of the 11th level to perfection. Lin Yuan's brows slightly furrowed. After the infusion of the chaos void origin, the strength of his physical body was too high, resulting in a very high starting point for the Xianhuang physique. To progress, the cost of resources required far exceeds that of a normal 11th level Xianhuang physique. Of course, this wasn't necessarily a bad thing. According to Lin Yuan's estimation, with his current foundational bodily strength, once the Xianhuang physique is cultivated to the level 11 perfect, in terms of physical prowess, he will surpass the ordinary supreme being level, approaching the Xianhuang physique at level 12 perfect. After contemplating the resources needed for the further cultivation of the Xianhuang physique, Lin Yuan was quite startled.
Moments later.
Lin Yuan stopped focusing on his physical body and began to comprehend the vast universal law fluctuations. My current comprehension speed. Lin Yuan slightly closed his eyes, only feeling as if the myriad rules and grand pathways of the universe were surging towards him. All credit goes to the original author. If you are the author and wish for this video to be removed or modified, please reach out at fableversodio@gmail.com. If you enjoyed this journey through the Fableverse, don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell so you never miss the next chapter. Want to support the storytellers behind the scenes? Check the description for donation links, author credits, and more. Until next time, stay curious and keep listening.